from all around the world and bringing them to our Nebraska roastery, where your coffee is roasted fresh and delivered straight to you.
Proudly serving Nebraska since 1972. Post Coffee is always roasting something good for you.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's business cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp for free. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. ramp.com/sports.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
The backseat. Check the backseat. All right, come here. Check the backseat.
Gets in your head, right? Good. Because every year, dozens of children are forgotten in the backseat of a car by a parent or caregiver. All never thought it could happen to them. But with changes in routines, distractions, or a sleeping child, it can happen to anyone. Parked cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. So get it in your head.
Check the backseat.
A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone.
A crossover is
crossover dribble.
Sing for the crossover.
Kyrie Irving crossover in the lane. One of the most famous crossovers of all time. Behind the back, an ankle breaker on Chris Paul.
Crossover. Double crossover.
Crossover continues to evolve.
The crossover is powered by Everlow Concrete Repair in Omaha and everlowconcrete.com. Did that part get in there?
No,
okay.
I got your back.
Thank you. Thank you.
Your back.
I appreciate that. Hi, boys. Happy Friday.
Hello. Yeah.
Final Friday of June.
Memorial Park display.
Hey,
I saw the towels out there and I got excited. I love America.
Well, we're on the air at 6, so I think that's when they allow people into the park and they do the air horn, and so it's the running of the Roger Daltrey.
Oh, really? They have an air. They say you can go now?
I don't think any of those people are running. I saw one walk across the street as I was going by the Omaha campus, and I told Sharpie that I felt maybe I was profiling, but he looked like your who?
Who's opening for Roger Daltrey tonight?
It's Inhale. Is that what it is? Inhaler? But it's Bono's son.
A lot of people will be inhaling.
Bono's son is the front man.
Bono's son?
Yeah.
What an American night it'll be.
Yeah, you're right. Inhaler.
But a guy that he looked like he was probably in his 60s. He actually had a Who t-shirt on.
Oh.
And he walked by and he parked in the UNO campus closest to Memorial Park and just put his blanket and whatnot down. And
Roger Daltrey is 80.
Perfect. He could run for president.
It is a good thing that it's a good thing that the weather is going to be a little bit cooler.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being 80 up there?
I've always thought that 80 is just the right age,
So you're saying we shouldn't put people who are over the age of 80 in
no
problematic positions
of
power?
No, I'm saying that everyone should be 80. 80 is really where people hit their stride.
Are you saying when it comes to the performers at Memorial Park, we should have a restriction on a minimum age and a maximum age?
I am.
You couldn't be saying that, Josh.
I think you're saying that.
No fireworks. Also, could we get some Americans?
I think 80 is the new 40. That's my take.
Sure seems to be that way.
Let me see. I'm trying to think of people
If I know one thing about U2, even though this isn't U2, but it's Bono's son, they could put on one hell of a 4th of July concert.
I bet they could.
Okay.
I bet they could.
So let's just assume Inhaler will.
Good thing it's not on a Sunday.
They should put
it would be a bloody Sunday.
They should put a sphere around the Memorial Park.
Back to your 80 is the new 40.
Yeah, let's dive into this.
Okay, so I'm trying to think of anybody I played golf with recently that's in their 40s.
And
how good they were.
Too
what their
young.
handicap might be.
Much too young.
You think last night
I'm
also?
a 15.
While dudes were debating their golf handicap, what if they just would have become dudes naming dudes?
That would have been better.
I would have
voted for both of them.
Yeah, I was hoping that would happen.
How about Dennis Dixon? What if one of them would have said that? It's like, you remember Dennis Dixon? That guy was awesome.
And then they would, and then the next one would have gone Akili Smith.
They just started naming old Oregon quarterbacks.
I was always a Champagne fan. Champagne Joe.
I always liked Jeremiah Masoli. If one of them would have said that.
Do you remember that
Joey
Adams kid?
Harrington.
Remember him? He transferred from Eastern Washington.
Eastern Washington, yeah. Yeah.
Oh gosh. See, now you're taking me down that rabbit hole. Didn't Masoli play for one of the Omaha professional teams?
Oh, yes, he was. I
thought
believe he was
Jeremiah did,
rostered by the Nighthawks.
Was he a Nighthawk or was he a Mammoth?
Actually, tough to.
Might have been a Mammoth when that was here for a cup of coffee.
Let's see if that's on his Wikipedia page somewhere.
Jeremiah Masoli.
Omaha Nighthawks, 2011.
Nighthawks, okay.
Omaha Nighthawks, 2011.
I'm just like Josh Delgado. I too have been arrested.
He must have been like Jeff Garcia's heir apparent.
Well, I don't remember much of the 2011 Nighthawks season. That was the one that got cut short, right?
Yeah.
Sad.
The what year?
2010, though. 2011, the 2011 Nighthawks.
Yeah.
Who played their games at TD Ameritrade Park.
They had an abbreviated schedule.
Well, they still owe me. They still owe me $1,500.
I hear you need to stand in line. I heard they owe just about the entire city of Omaha that did business with them.
No, I guess they got okay. So they played a full 2011.
That was the year when the championship game was at Rosenblatt, but Omaha wasn't in it. If I remember correctly.
So I did their last year. It was Severe and I doing the games.
12. Yes. And then they folded 4 games into the season.
Wasn't that the year they were trying to get games on Spike? Or they maybe had a couple games on Spike?
I don't know. I know that there was reports that they were having financial troubles. And we played at Sacramento and Vegas and flew out in a chartered plane. And it was super, super nice.
Mm-hmm.
And they spent a ton of money. And I'm like, oh, boy, we're in trouble.
You're right. They did. They went to Sacramento in late September, and they went to Vegas.
Did you get paid?
Got drilled.
No, they owe me $1,500.
Okay.
Do they owe Michael money too?
Okay, so I brought this up once, and Michael's like, "No, man. Hey, they paid me."
Okay.
I don't know.
So I think the same thing. So he and I did some Omaha Beef games, and I think he avoided that one too, where I walked in and deposited the check. Day later, I found out that it bounced, and then so I think I asked Severe, I'm like, "Did you have any problems with your check?" And I'm pretty sure he said, "No, I was good." Like, gosh, dang it. But yeah,
Michael's a savvy business
but
guy.
then the entire team's check, their last 2 weeks, their checks were bouncing. And then they said, whoever owned it at the time said that, well, we're not going to pay you guys until, and they were talking to the radio people too, we're not going to pay you guys until they turn in their equipment. I'm like, that has nothing to do with me. I did what I was supposed to do.
No, that's reasonable.
I have no control over the guy turning his shoulder pads.
That's reasonable.
So they were living in the DoubleTree downtown.
The Nighthawks?
Yeah. And I guess when things went south, like that became it was bad.
Nighthawks all-time record 6-10. 6-10.
Oh, there you
Yeah,
go.
the Mammoths,
That was their all-time total bill that's owed.
The Mammoth roster was pretty good the following year, but they shut her down.
Yeah.
That was pretty quick.
Yeah.
That was pretty quick.
Yeah.
I think it was, and that was 1 year, and I think that got cut short. I don't even think they did their full scheduled season.
So how about this idea that's been floated out there involving the city of Omaha?
They were set to be coached by Sandy Buddha.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What if, Union Omaha gets their soccer stadium downtown, and the UFL, XFL, whatever it's called this year, is still doing well? Would Omaha be a market? Because they can't play at TD because of the College World Series, but could they play at this soccer stadium in downtown Omaha?
I don't know. I hope that'd be cool.
There appears to be some stability with the league.
That'd be cool. Let's play some ball. Let's get some football rolling.
The Rock does not endorse failure.
Except for this last WrestleMania.
Well.
Oh, is that a failure?
Story's not over there.
Oh, that's so true. We're about to come up on some big events in wrestling.
SummerSlam?
We'll do it on the podcast.
Okay.
When we talk about wrestling on the podcast.
Yeah, you guys should have a wrestling podcast.
George Norwood had a wrestling podcast who used to be here.
George.
Yes.
George loved wrestling.
George loved wrestling in the WNBA. He was on the cutting edge.
Those are the things I know about George.
Yes. Yeah.
Never met the guy. He's great.
You never met George?
No.
Oh, I met George.
We were two ships passing in the night.
Have you met George?
That's true. That
Two
was true.
ships passing.
But yeah, George loved himself. He still does because he goes to a lot of Chicago Sky games, living in Chicago. And then,
he's a big Angel Reese fan. Then?
We were going back and forth during WrestleMania.
I met George when I came in and I did a show when it ended up being you on the midday show.
Yeah.
And then we obviously flipped all those things around. And that's when I met George. It was me, George, and Stibbs one day.
What a show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
That is a banger.
Yeah, we'll have to get the tapes from that show.
We could play them on July 5th.
By the way,
would that be live and local?
That look was priceless.
It would be local. That's for sure. Colorado is the 16th best team overall on the new college football video.
Well, they should be because they're in top 25 in both the offense and defense.
Of course, they are.
So according to EA Sports, they should be preseason ranked number 16.
Very deserving of that mark.
Yep.
That.
They're going to go from the 121st
again,
defense to the top 20.
They are holding Sam Keller against Nebraska.
I think it's a good point.
That is the only explanation to all of this.
You know, that does make sense a little bit.
I mean, Colorado, top 25.
USC, top 25 defense.
Almost top 15.
Yeah.
If you go by, I was looking at like the rankings of certain parts of what EA Sports has. Colorado would be a 7-point favorite against Nebraska.
Yeah. Have we checked on that recently, by the way?
Yeah. Has the video game forced the line to move?
I hope EA Sports comes out with lines.
I would like EA Sports.
Yeah, they should, right?
EA Sports would help me build a retirement casa if they did the lines in Vegas.
So Nebraska is a 27.5-point favorite against UTEP in week 1. And then when they welcome in Colorado, they are at the moment on the FanDuel Sportsbook, they are a 6.5-point favorite. I don't understand how they're a 6.5-point favorite against a team that's that good.
I know.
Yeah.
They are so good.
There's a trick there.
Speaks highly of Nebraska. Then.
Vegas is wanting you to do do something.
What does Vegas know?
Yep.
What does the video game know?
Does Vegas know or does the video game know?
Well, you got your top 25 rankings today, and then tomorrow is when EA Sports comes out with their betting lines.
Yeah,
so
that
is going to happen tomorrow. We'll see. Then they'll probably maybe alter that number a little bit.
Do you think they'll have a little score bug on the video game that has win probability?
I hope they should.
Oh,
You got to lean into the modern day game.
And then we could do one of those mini games. One of those side games is how high can you get Nebraska's before they lose?
Yeah, before they
Because the all-time record, I believe, is 99.9.
What is your win probability before it all comes crashing down?
They've done that several times.
Yep. You know, they
at
always,
least 6 or 7 times.
They always offer up those challenges.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
How high can you get your win probability
but
before it goes the other way?
Specifically Nebraska's.
Yeah.
How high can you make Nebraska's win probability before
That's part of
lose?
dynasty mode right there. Yes. You got to overcome that.
Say 14-point lead, 4 minutes left. Don't worry, I got this.
Probably lose by 3.
Definitely.
Might lose in overtime, not score a point.
No, in regulation. They'll lose that game in regulation.
Remember that exercise we did at the baseball village?
Yeah, they haven't.
Not only have they not won, but they have not got a first down in overtime.
So not even a point.
This
November will be the 10-year anniversary of Nebraska not getting a single first down. The last time Nebraska got a first down in overtime.
Yeah. So I mean,
so theoretically, if they don't play an overtime game, throughout this season, we'll be talking 10 years.
10 years. That let's not even talk about wins or
and I believe it's been
points, but a first down.
I believe it was 7. It's been 7 games.
And remember the amount of 3rd and 4th and really, really short?
Yeah.
And they passed every time?
There was one, the funniest one was like they were in 3rd and 1 and they got a false start.
Yeah, false start.
3rd and 6.
Then they got to like 4th and 2 and they threw it and it was either intercepted or incomplete.
I'd like to see him punt in overtime one time. Well, it's 4th and 40. What do you do here? You throw it up deep toward the end zone? No, let's just punt it.
Let's punt it.
Let's just punt it.
That's what we know.
Probably get the punt taken back on them.
Yeah, they would. Can't do that. Can't risk it.
Colorado 8.5-point favorites against North Dakota State in week 1. Well, you'd think that line would be just
high,
triple that with their ratings.
It'd be like at least a double digit.
Let's see what else do we got here for week 1. Stanford and TCU play each other week 1. That's a game.
Boom.
What conferences are they in? Nobody knows. But TCU's an 8.5-point favorite.
What's Clemson, Georgia?
Clemson, Georgia. Georgia 13.5.
Imagine if Clemson had some portal guys, it'd be closer.
Maryland 20.5 against UConn.
That's an intriguing game. That'd be a great basketball game.
What do you think of Miami, Ohio, and Northwestern week 1? Northwestern minus 3.5.
Oh, those are the games usually Northwestern loses.
Do people not realize Northwestern had a nice year last year?
They did.
They did.
Yeah,
But they normally lose those games.
Anything.
Thought they would go over.
Yep.
Ohio State's only a 50-point favorite against Akron in week 1.
There's hope for Jerry Faust.
What else we got? Alabama, Western Kentucky.
Minus 37.
USC, LSU.
31.5, by the way, Nick.
Okay.
USC, LSU. LSU minus 6.5. Minus 6.5.
Now that game's in Vegas.
That is that's the Sunday, right? Yeah, that's the Sunday night game. And then week 2, we got Texas, Michigan. Texas is only a 3.5-point favorite. El Assico that same week. Iowa's a 2.5-point favorite against Iowa State. Week 2 is going to be good. I'm ready for week 2.
Week 2 is always like the week in college football in the non-con.
Yeah. Not anymore, though. Everybody's just going to be playing FCS schools now.
And they'll be playing on week 0 and have 2 buys. It'll be great.
Yep.
Yep.
I think, though, the Colorado thing is if you are a cover boy, because
you get the bump.
Well, and he represents both sides of the football, too.
They lost 8 of their last 9 games.
Mm-hmm.
They went 4-8.
That is true.
People forget that.
But that's no one person's fault.
That's probably true.
Oh, no, it's the offensive coordinator's fault. They got rid of him.
Problem solved.
And the DC is gone.
Yeah. Livingston now. And you're don't underscore, guys, and don't dismiss the importance of bringing in Warren Sapp.
Watch out.
I mean, Warren Sapp,
fat boy.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing that, we're way too nice around here. Like, I worry if all of a sudden the Big Ten turns in the SEC and you have to, fleece other people's staffs. Like, Nebraska's way too nice and they will not be cutthroat. All bets are off because don't they have to have a reference on a video board of Warren Sapp and the Orange Bowl?
Yep.
Absolutely.
100%.
Like, they have to.
Yes.
They have to acknowledge that Warren Sapp, for the first time since he was embarrassed, is back in Memorial
You know what?
Stadium.
I'll go find the screenshot for
the
him
first
right
time ever.
now of him sucking on the oxygen mask, and I'll send it right over.
Mm-hmm.
Fire everyone at Husker Vision if they don't.
Him and Ray Lewis.
Like, it has
Burgess.
This is not a time for cowardice.
No, see, here's the thing. Like, you can't put it in the tunnel walk because Colorado probably won't be on the field yet, so he won't see it. You have to do it like during a timeout.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They'd be like, why are they showing highlights of Miami?
Well, okay. Well, wouldn't they?
Greatest games in Nebraska history.
Wouldn't they be honoring the 94 team? That would be the day to do it.
Yep. And then you could have all of those offensive linemen kind of doing the same thing where they're looking back at they're in the huddle, looking back at the defensive line, and they're all just on one knee, sucking oxygen. Yeah.
30 years, that's it? That's all it's been? It was like yesterday.
That's because we were talking about it yesterday.
Oh, yeah, that's why.
And if they could just get back to that offensive line, just have the pipeline going again, they're going to be fine.
Just get back to putting pumpkins in the locker.
Now, the anniversary of those teams have kind of been bungled a little bit. Like in terms of
when they did the 97, the 20-year anniversary of 97, that was a weird one because that was 2017.
Yep.
Against Wisconsin. They
Not
wore
a good game.
Remember they wore those mesh jerseys?
Yeah.
It was a good game for a while.
Yeah, that's right, because they had Alex Hornibrook. That's why it was a good game, because he's really bad.
That's right. And then they got soul crushed by Mr. Jonathan Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
But that was one of the greater.
Didn't Hornibrook throw a pick six?
Yeah. They threw pick six. Aaron Williams,
Yeah.
Mario jumped into the end zone.
Yeah.
And it was tied. And I'm like, whoa, what's going to happen here? Because they were, I think they had come off that win against like Rutgers. They were like 3-2. It's like, okay, things are kind of going okay here. And then they did the ensuing kickoff as the game was tied, and they pushed them back like they were inside their own 10.
Yeah.
It was like, whoa, what's happening here? And then Jonathan Taylor It's like 90 yards. Boom, boom, boom. It happened in like 4 plays.
You know what? Who I think they beat? Were they coming off of the Purdue win?
I think it was Rutgers.
Was it Rutgers?
Hey,
Okay.
Not crazy to think. Mike Riley could have gone 3-0 against Wisconsin.
Mike Riley probably should have gone 3-0 against Wisconsin.
Oh yeah, because the first year in Lincoln, that was the field goal. That was the Janovich run.
Jano run.
Second year
was the overtime.
Yep, and
didn't get a first down. People
the third
forget.
year, amongst all of the colossal failures in 17, that wasn't the biggest one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a case to be made.
There's really only one coach who just consistently got drilled by Wisconsin. It was also the same coach that beat Wisconsin.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was Bo.
Man, think of that. Alex Honeybrook was your trigger man in 17. Joel freaking Stavi in 2000.
Hey, so against Wisconsin, which is one of the the worst moments during this stretch, Bo was good against Iowa.
Yeah, he was.
He was 3-1 against Iowa.
Yes, he was.
He was good against Iowa.
In fact, his lasting image was the last time Nebraska scored a point in overtime.
So if you could have combined,
I believe they got a first down too.
The last 3 Nebraska football coaches, put them all together as one.
Oh, you'd have a
Would
hell
you
of a
be
coach.
successful?
Yeah.
Okay, so the last 3 football so we're not including Rule.
No, Rule's on his own.
So it's Scott, Bo, and Mike Riley.
Yeah.
They beat Iowa a combined well, Scott never beat Iowa.
Yeah, that's true. But they were always competitive.
So we're excluding the interim staff from that year. So they beat Iowa 3 times. They beat Wisconsin once.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They beat how many times they beat Minnesota?
Didn't Mike Riley
once, twice?
Wasn't Mike Riley very successful against Northwestern? Was he 2-1?
Well,
they lost in 15.
Oh, they did lose in 15.
They lost in 15.
It was 2-1. They won it. They
Clayton
won.
Thorson ran wild.
They won on the road in 16, and then I thought they beat
I don't know if they beat him.
No,
in 17.
they must have lost him in 17. I think they lost him in 17.
You combine.
How about Minnesota? Let me check.
Well, Nebraska.
That wasn't good, Mike Riley.
Yeah, Bo didn't have much success against Minnesota.
No.
Nobody did. Nobody has had much success against Minnesota. Frost beat them bad.
Yeah, in his first year.
In his first year, their first win that year.
Then Hoodiegate.
So let me see. Going back to 2011, Nebraska beat them the first 2 times, and then Riley beat them twice.
He beat Minnesota twice.
Riley beat them twice.
He had, Terrell Newby had a monster game.
Correct. In 15.
I'm thinking of 17 where they just blew the doors off them. What was the quarterback for Minnesota?
Demery Croft.
Yeah, Croft, who ended up leaving.
And Frost beat him once. So each of the last 3 coaches have beat Minnesota at least once. So you got that going for you.
The final game for Mike Riley against Minnesota is also the famous press conference where the Daily Nebraskan reporter goes, "Would you fire yourself?"
Which
that was at his post-firing press conference.
No, it was.
He asked how it was going to be, or what does it feel like to be unemployed? That was the post firing press conference. But that one was not an original. It was not an original question, because if you go all the way back to when Nebraska lost to Texas Tech in Callahan's first year, somebody had asked Callahan, if you were the AD, would you fire you? That was like his fourth game.
Great question.
in the Bill Callahan era. Yeah, it was good.
Bill immediately left the room and like, man, I love Nebraska. This is a great place. It's going to be fantastic.
So Bo went 3-1 against Northwestern. Riley went 1-2.
Okay. Yeah.
Lost in 15 and 17.
Hey, Coach Schlossnagel, if you were the Texas AD, would you hire yourself?
And Scotty, he went what? 0-1, 1-1, 1-2. They just vacillated between wins and losses. So they went 3 and
But they weren't just
2 and 3.
But Frost against Northwestern wasn't just they lost. Can we break down their losses to Northwestern?
Sure.
Okay.
That sounds like a good summer topic.
You remember his first year?
Yep.
They had that game won.
They did.
Roughing the passer.
Yep. They were up by, I believe, 2 touchdowns with about 4. That might have been the highest win probability that they had, that they ended up losing that game. That was horrible.
Total disaster.
Yeah, that white guy for Northwestern, I mean, absolutely killed him. That short white guy, that wide receiver. He was awesome.
The superback.
There was that one
superback.
too.
Well, there's Carr. That was Frost, though, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Austin Carr.
Yes.
Austin Carr was He hurt Nebraska in one of the. I can't remember what year that was though.
So yes, so 18 was that game. 19 they beat him because they had the kicker from Lead Belly.
He was from Lead Belly. That was his part-time job.
Oh,
yep. And then 20. Oh yeah, that was the game Adrian got benched.
Yes.
And they
wait. Are you talking about the Nebraska walk-off win?
Yes.
With Lane McCallum.
Lane McCallum. He
Yeah,
was not
Lane
that.
McCallum.
He was not the Lead Belly guy.
Okay.
They had two kickers. One of them was from Lead Belly. One of them was a safety. And that
Lane McCallum was a safety.
he was the safety.
Yeah.
Yes.
From Norfolk.
Yes.
Yep.
Shout out to Norfolk. 2020. Okay. Yep. So Adrian gets benched. 2021 drilled him. 2022 was double an onside kick.
Okay, so 21 was the Yant game.
Yes, where they just
They won
housed-
56-7.
Yep.
They absolutely crushed them. That's how it was supposed to be.
It was the Teddy Prohaska game.
Yes.
I had never seen a slower defense in my entire life.
Oh, they were so bad.
Jock Yant, who might be one of the slowest running backs Nebraska's ever had, was just running circles around them.
And
he was like juking them.
Wasn't that Ryan Helinski with Northwestern too? Because remember that the following year was Ireland, and we're like, man, Helinski's a lot better. He's really good. But we saw him in that game. We're like, oh, Helinski's
So if you had to pick a Big Ten West opponent that sums up the Scott Frost era, the Northwestern series might be the one.
Yeah.
Because none of those games were normal.
I would offer you Illinois. But there were some real bad ones in there.
especially the COVID game. The COVID game with Illinois was rough. Was really rough.
Correct.
And remember how it started out too.
Correct. They were more than 2 touchdown favorites in that game and ended up getting beat by 20.
Because the one that pops into my mind right away is the Friday night game where Adrian just got the heck beat out. Him and Wandale just got crushed.
Yep.
And it was basically those two against all of Illinois, and they won.
Yep,
That led into the Ohio State game.
Yeah, that's why it was a game day. If they lose that game, that's not.
So they
that's
beat
not
him.
game day.
They beat him bad in 18. They barely beat him in 19 on the road. And then the 2020 COVID game was a disaster. 2021 to open the season. Cam Taylor Britt. They were up 9-0, and then everything exploded after that.
Oh, okay. So I think Northwestern and Illinois are in the running here, because also the Illinois one is that game in 21 is they ran a different. That's the whole. Well, we didn't know what they were going to run. And
that's right.
They
had a different offense.
A terrible press conference.
Oh yeah, they had to throw half of the playbook out.
I always said this is that was in my time of doing post game shows. That was one of the most mad I think I've ever been. I could not believe
had to throw
the
half the
result of
playbook
that
out.
game. That was ridiculous.
You know, I'm going to side with you. I think it's Illinois, because I'm going to go back to the COVID year. I about drove off the road coming home from that game, listening to Frost and Greg Sharp talk, because Greg asked him about the fake punt. And he goes, we only had 10 guys on the field.
Nobody even knew that.
Yeah.
We were just giving you credit for having 11 on the field and how bad it was.
Yeah, he goes, somebody got confused. We only had 10 guys out there. I was driving back from Lincoln. I about drove off the road. I'm like, did he really just say that? Something about they couldn't find a guy. A guy wasn't paying attention.
Yep. You know who you're thinking of? I'm sorry, go back to Northwestern. Flynn Nagel. That's who you're thinking of in that overtime game. Yes,
that
Flynn
is correct.
Nagel.
He absolutely killed. He must have had 200 yards receiving that day.
Yes, he did.
And so then there was 22. Everybody was fired by then, though. They couldn't score. They hung with them for a long time. That was the game that Matt Rule visited.
Yes, but it was also the game.
And Illinois was good that year. They were really good that year.
So Nebraska had started to shut down Brown, right? Yeah.
Devin.
No. What was their top running back?
Yeah, Devin. No.
Was it Brown?
Yeah, it was. Not Devin, but.
So they had
back.
done a good job of containing him, but that's the game that Casey got hurt.
Yes.
And Nebraska was actually starting to have some momentum in the second quarter.
Chase Brown.
Chase Brown.
They were starting to get some momentum, and Casey got hurt.
Yeah, they lost 26-9.
It was really unseasonably warm that day.
It was. That was the perfect day for Matt Rule.
Yeah, to say, wow, it's like this in Nebraska.
I think I'll stay in Trev's basement today. It's a good idea. Illinois is a pretty rough one. They lost 3 in a row from Illinois to 20 to 22.
God, I now remember that we had to throw half of our offensive game plan.
Totally normal.
So you had
because they were in an odd man front.
You had the safety, but then you remember you also had Adrian.
Well, Adrian fumbled right before halftime.
Really struggled in that game.
Yeah, well, Adrian was like they were up 9-0 and they weren't like doing anything.
Yeah.
And then when the safety happened, everything like they got the ball back after that.
There was a scoop and score right before halftime.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. They just felt like they were up 9-0 and
at that point you're like, yeah. And then God, who was Illinois' quarterback? It was he was a transfer, not supposed to be very good. And then he had it was the drive to begin the second half. The dude couldn't miss. It was third down conversion after third down conversion.
I'll get you that name.
Yeah, he wasn't very good, but he was in that one drive. And for the most part in that game, he was serviceable. But of course, like
Arthur Sikowski.
Sikowski, yes. Yeah, because he was the Rutgers transfer.
Of Rutgers fame.
Yes, he was the Rutgers transfer.
So many. That's
These
why
are great memories.
That's why, like last year, Nebraska winning on that Friday night there is like, oh,
yeah.
Thank God.
Yep.
Because you remember one of Riley's years, trip to Champaign with all the defensive pass interferences in the end zone, the third down play with Ozigbo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They won the game.
Yeah.
And that Friday game. But it was extremely sloppy.
That was 15. That was the game you're talking about. Yeah.
The 15 game is Nebraska has the game salted away. There's another win probability.
That's the Saturday one. Yep. Yeah, that one. And it was kind of like drizzling or whatever out. It was, in Champaign. Yeah, because in 16 was the Friday game where it was a really weird game, but they won.
Let me do the win. Let me see what the win probability, if they tracked it on here. The high win probability. Yeah, 14-13. Ooh. Illinois got all 14 of their points in the fourth quarter.
13.
Shout out Wes Lunt.
Defensive pass interference after defensive pass interference from the 1 yard line.
Somebody's going to score at some point.
But when Nebraska had the ball for the final time, the win probability had to be in the mid 90s.
Yeah. Because there's staff,
awful clock management.
That
in that
staff
one too.
was not big on like throwing people under the bus. Maybe not as big as the next staff was. But that was the one game. I remember Danny Langsdorff was like, "Yeah, Tommy was supposed to do a run play there, and they did a pass play."
Yeah,
so that was bad.
Just turn and hand the ball off to Ozigbo.
Yep.
Okay.
Hey, let's do Purdue now.
Now Purdue was successful.
Purdue in 17, big victory on the road. It was a night game.
Nebraska Purdue since joining the Big Ten. Nebraska is 6-5 against Purdue.
Scott wasn't great other than the COVID year against Purdue.
Well, that's because they figured out that, hey, let's run Adrian Martinez quarterback power because Purdue can't stop him.
Yeah. Frost lost to him in 18. That was the
spanked.
Jeff Brom game.
That was the we had a winnable game. That was fun. 2019. What happened in 19? They lost.
What was
they lost close?
The running back in 18 was King. What the hell's his name?
Doru
King. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember him rumbling for at least one touchdown, if not two.
That was another major injury.
Yes, every time Nebraska's gone there, they've suffered many torn ACLs.
Oh, that's right.
Ended basically DeMornay Piersonell's career.
That's right.
Yep. Jumping after scoring, right?
Yep.
In the back of the end zone.
Freaking Ross-Ade Stadium.
That was fun. Yeah. 2022, that was the Trey Palmer was going crazy game. Nebraska still lost.
Yep.
It was entertaining.
And then and Riley actually beat them twice, but the one was so bad.
That was the Tanner Lee game.
Yeah.
It was a Saturday night game.
Yep, that was a Saturday night one.
Yeah. That was their last win, that staff.
Stanley had a big game in that one.
But the 15 game, that was
the Riker five interception game.
I took a nap on my couch that day, and I woke up to see the score was, I believe, 42-16, and I thought that I was dead.
And then
I was like, this is not real.
Did you wake up in time?
I'm going back to sleep.
Did the two defensive backs run into each other?
that's the game that I always know as the Riker Fife game.
Yeah, that was
because he was really bad. But then the following week, what they do? They beat a college football playoff team in Michigan State.
Very cool.
Yep.
Very normal.
That's when you thought, hey, Mike Riley, it's coming.
Yeah, let me check.
Starting to click.
Nebraska Purdue 2015. Here's Riker Fife's stat line that day.
It's good.
29 of 48 for 407 yards,
Yeah.
4 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions.
And he had a fumble too. So there was 5 total turnovers, if I remember correctly.
Nebraska ran the ball 29 times for 77 yards that day when you include the sacks.
Oh, it was rough.
That was a bad one.
Yeah, it was rough.
So
any
let's
other
look,
Big Ten West teams?
Hold on, let's look on Husker Max here.
Which one? Which game?
For that game, 2015.
2015 Purdue?
Yeah.
What they were writing about it?
Yes.
The headlines?
Boiling point after painful loss to Purdue. Huskers focused on progress.
That's a good one.
Okay.
Oh, look, I can
apparently it worked because then they beat Michigan State.
I can see. I'm looking at the scoring plays log right now. I could see when I woke up from that nap. 42-16. There it was. I wasn't dreaming after all. It's a real life thing.
But okay, from 42-16.
Oh, they had a ferocious comeback.
55-45.
Yeah,
it was a 45.
It was almost like that really weird Penn State game. And was that 2017 where Penn State was up by a huge amount?
Mm-hmm.
And Saquon Barkley was running wild, and then all of a sudden Nebraska got a bunch of garbage time.
I think they were down. The Oregon game in 2016 or 2017, they were down like 42-0 at half, right?
Yeah.
And then I think the Penn State game it was very similar, maybe 35-0 at half.
And then all of a sudden, I think the final score ended up being something similar to that. It was like 56-42, like
56-44.
Respectable.
The
Nebraska was down 42-10 at half in that 2017 Penn State.
And the post game for Eugene, you were out kind of by the fans as they were leaving. And I remember Diaco got so rattled because fans were walking by as he was trying to answer questions.
Things at him?
Yes. Everybody else was in like sweatsuits and stuff. Diaco was like, in a 3-piece suit.
Oh, he was already dressed.
Nebraska was down 42-14 at half of the 2017 Oregon game. That's a game that I will remember because Nebraska wore their home jerseys.
They did, yeah.
It looked cool.
Yep.
And Joe Davis he wanted to say nice things about Nebraska, but could not.
I'd like to go home now. Maybe that's what he was saying.
I like this little exercise. The series that best directly represents the Scott Frost era. I'm with you on Illinois.
I think Illinois, yeah. Weird stuff.
Because you have to factor in Wandale Robinson, who the way his usage was.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And there's a game in that where it's like, why are we running this guy? He is going to get killed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know who all those coaches had success? Not in the West. Rutgers.
Nebraska hasn't lost to Rutgers.
Don't forget Champions Week.
No, not yet.
Almost did against Champions Week, but then Adrian took over in the second half. Remember Champions Week?
And then they
Champions
said,
Week.
Would you like to go to a bowl game? And they said, no, thank you.
Nah,
thank you.
Because that Friday night was taxing.
Well, we got hunting season.
Remember, he had Luke McCaffrey go through warm-ups, and then next thing you know, he's in street clothes.
That's right.
Yep.
Oh, that was a good one.
That's right.
Yeah. It's like, I don't think I'll play today.
And I think Wandale scored his only touchdown of the year and decided after he got hit that, yep, I'm gone. I'm not coming back here.
Oh, that's a good game.
Yeah, they've had some interesting games out there. Remember that one time where Nebraska played out there and they realized, oh my God, that guy wearing 11 is Sethan Carter. We can use him.
Yeah.
And he ran an end around.
Yep. The end around. That's right.
Thank God for Rutgers.
Nebraska.
They haven't all been pretty, but
Nebraska Rutgers 2020. This is fun. Nebraska outgained Rutgers that day 620 to 252.
And it was minus 10 degrees that night.
And won by a touchdown.
Yep. Because Adrian, he was just brutal in the first half. And in the second half, it was just like, whoop, I got it.
Yeah, Nebraska was down 14-7 at half.
I believe there was a kickoff return, too.
Yes. Oh, yeah. It was
what's his face from that transferred to Wisconsin?
Yes.
Crookshank.
Nice. I was going to say Amir Smith-Marset, but no, that's Iowa.
That's Iowa, yeah.
Aaron Cruikshank, because he got him the year before that, too, at Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, love this. This is fun. This is fun. Jeff writes in.
Hi, Jeff.
Happy Friday. Remember how terrible the Frost era was? I'm now sad.
I know. We're going to the holiday weekend. We're just dumping this all over you.
A good
Akron would have changed all of this.
They would have. I mean, if they only would have played that game against Akron.
Good one from Chris. To counter unsportsmanlike conduct, 25 teams in 25 days, Connor needs to do 25 Frost quotes in 25 days. Sounds like a really good summer bit.
Gary's right. The punt, the fake punt thing was pretty bad, but I'll never forget. I think we all collectively gasped when he said, well, they came out. It was either an odd man front or an even front. Either one.
They had to throw out
50% of the game plan, 50% of the playbook. Like, oh my God. Just had the Benny Hill theme song and it going on in the background. Just I mean, it was just like what is this?
I like this 25 Scott Frost quotes in 25 days.
Oh, there's plenty of them.
But can you include not just post-game press conferences?
Yeah.
Because there are a couple like during the week.
Oh, yeah. The Mondays were bangers.
And something we brought up the other day is the infamous press conference of dad pulls son and says, you need to respond to these NCAA allegations.
My son hit his baseball through your window. He has something to say to you. Go ahead, Scott.
Were you might have been there.
Probably.
It was one of the most uncomfortable settings.
Oh, no, I wasn't at the Trev. No, I was not at that day.
So Scott was dressed because he come off the practice field. Trev's like dressed up and he's standing like right there watching him. Explain why Nebraska has NCAA knocking on their door.
And then when they walked off, Trev said, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
What was the country? What was the country that they would have played anybody in?
Uzbekistan.
That's a good one. That's top five. That's top five easy.
I know it's not a quote, but can we use a moments too when he slides down the pole?
So slides down the pole, Uzbekistan, lupus. Yeah, and those are.
I mean, the countless times they said we're coming, or I'm sorry, we're ready. This thing's ready to pop.
Yeah, you better get us now.
This thing's ready to pop. We're just so close.
It never popped, did it?
Best practice.
Best practice of the week.
Well, they just needed more time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Jeff says easily forgotten one was when they were asking him about the defense, and he said he didn't know because he was focused on the offense. I think that happened probably many times.
Sure.
I don't know what they're doing over there. I'm over here.
Yeah,
I'll go
ask Coach Chins.
You know what? I'm not really sure, but I'm going to go ask Coach Chins. I'll get back to him then.
Mike says this is not from midweek presser or postgame, but would the number one spot be held by his comment at the Big Ten Media Days, where he skipped an opening statement and went straight to questions?
Yeah, no opening
The one
statement.
time he didn't say anything.
Yeah. Just okay.
Yeah, I'll go straight to questions.
Boy, what a scandal.
That was his last year.
And then it was Scott. What's your role?
We
now
really wasted a lot of oxygen on that, didn't we?
Now that Mark Whipple's here, what's your role? I don't
And
really
Garrett
know.
Garrett Nelson.
I don't know is the answer.
I'm just sad.
Garrett Nelson was at Media Days, and he said that he felt he was sad for him.
Yes, that's right. He's like a lost soul.
Yeah, this poor guy. He just wants to call offense. He just wants to do really cool
We'll
things.
see him by himself, running some stairs and just calling out random plays. It's just how he.
Who could have thought that wasn't going to work? Good try, though.
And Mark
Just
Whipple
win.
without his shoes.
Just win this year. Start to win.
Yeah, then we could not talk about these things anymore. But it's a good July time.
It is a little bit like I don't want to say spoiled, because I really think that I would like Rule just to go into the moment where he just says stuff that you're like, huh?
Yeah.
But he doesn't.
Yeah, too much
We're
of it
waiting.
makes sense.
He says too much normal, common sense things,
Mhm.
like as a human being.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's like it's easy to follow. It's very easy to follow.
He's a psychopath, though. But
Well, yeah, he's a football nerd.
yeah.
But what he says, it's easy to follow.
Are you
You're like,
saying that because
oh,
he used the word murder last week?
That was a good one. We got to note that.
we're going to murder you. We're going to murder them.
We're going to absolutely, murder you.
If you want to run zone on us, we're going to absolutely murder you or something.
You know how they asked Joe Mazzulla last week about the town?
Yeah.
And he's actually thought about how to rob a bank because he
Whose
went
car
into
we
great
taking?
detail.
Let's go.
Would a follow-up be, Coach, have you ever thought about how you'd murder somebody?
I would love any media member
Probably
to ask that question.
run the ball right up the gut with 2 high safeties.
Yeah.
That's how I'd do it.
Yeah.
It'd be like death by 1,000 cuts.
Or if they bring everybody in the box, we're gonna
like that has to be
hit you up the
when
scene
you're
and
on your
absolutely murder
fifth
you.
hour at the Big Ten Media Days question. When you're finally to the last like one-on-one session, that somebody goes, "Coach, I heard you mention murder last month. If you were going to murder somebody, how would you do it?" Because if you guys
He'll say, "Let me tell you. I'll tell you exactly how."
It's actually I've thought about that.
I would start to break him down mentally. Because Joe Mazzulla's
the fourth
description
quarter.
of how he would rob a bank, he has put a lot of thought into.
He's watched the town
Oh, yeah,
hundreds of
he's
times.
watched the town. He sees what works and what doesn't work.
Like he's almost convincing that he
That was
will rob a
baseball
bank.
stadium. If they fire me, I will rob a bank.
Guys, enjoy your weekends.
Hey, have a
too.
fun weekend.
Keep your fingers.
That's
That's
not
for
till
next
next week. Yeah.
Enjoy. People will be blowing stuff up this weekend.
Oh
You don't
yeah,
think so?
it started last night. I could hear stuff in our.
You know what?
in our
I
hood.
think we're lucky. I've not registered a firework in my neighborhood.
Oh,
I even
Really?
keep checking the Nextdoor app.
Wow.
it's
A lot of
coming.
people in my neighborhood are going to a garage sale. If you guys are looking for something to do,
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Carmen is going along with 7 others.
Oh,
Good to see Carmen getting out of the house, though, getting those reps.
That's Crossover, powered by Every Level Concrete Repair in Omaha at everylevelconcrete.com. We'll start things off next.
That's the Crossover. The Connor Happer Show is next on 1620 The Zone. You get a lot of junk in your inbox. This one, not junk at all. 1620 The Email. Exclusive content, contests, other stuff probably. Subscribe today at 1620thezone.com. Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Friday is a severe weather day with a chance for strong to severe storms in the metro, mainly between 2 and 6 p.m. All modes of severe weather in play with any stronger storms. Otherwise, expect warm, humid, and breezy conditions with highs in the mid to upper 80s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV Newswatch 7.
ZZ Top, the Elevation Tour. October 1st, Liberty First Credit Union Arena. Playing all their classic hits. ZZ Top. On sale now at libertyfirstcreditunionarena.com or at the box office.
We're excited to announce the grand opening of Saul's Jewelry & Loan's new downtown location. It's a Saul shopping experience like you've never seen in this beautiful, historic location. And of course, we brought in tons of new inventory, amazing jewelry finds at our famous best in town prices, motorcycles, tools, bikes, guitars. And as always, get a cash on the spot loan from $10,000 to $50,000. Everything you've come to expect from Saul's in our new location. 22nd and Hardy, downtown Omaha, Saul's Jewelry & Loan.
Hey Nebraskans, your signatures are needed to finally legalize medical marijuana, but time is limited. There's nearly 1 week left. Get to the state's best liquor stores, wine, beer, and spirits today and sign. Support NMN2024.org to make a donation.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-893-2288, 800-893-2288, 800-893-2288.
How do you celebrate the expansion of Lindley Clothing with the addition of Well Suited? Well, you have a BOGO 50% off sale. Right now, Lindley Clothing, buy one, get one 50% off sale on suits and sports coats. Buy one suit or sports coat at regular price and get a suit or sport coat of equal or lesser value at 50% off. Now, the sale is going on now, but it ends with a bang on July 3rd. If you haven't been to Lindley Clothing, get there now and check out Well Suited as well. More sizes, more styles, more selection. In the Linden Market at 132nd and West Dodge, you'll enjoy easy access to Lindley Clothing.
Funplex has asked me to give you a first-hand account of the all-new for 2024 Wipeout attraction.
Okay, hit it.
We're starting up. Spinning a little now. Whoa, a lot.
The centrifugal force is starting to stretch my face. Holy this thing's fast. Whoa, it's tilting. We have tilting. Woohoo, this is awesome. You got to try this. Get your tickets now at fun-plex.com.
Email us on the Equitable Bank inbox with whatever is on your mind. Zone Inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. You can get me, Gary, at 1620thezone.com. We want to hear from you on the Equitable Bank Zone Inbox.
It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, good morning and welcome in. Happy Friday. It's the Connor Happer Show. You're on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Odson with you, sending you into your weekend, pre-4th of July weekend. Not quite there yet. I guess next weekend would technically be 4th of July weekend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure on that one.
Although I did hear the your favorite phrase on the news today, that today is the busiest travel day of the year.
Oh, it's today.
I thought it was. I
figured it would be next weekend.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll say it again next week.
Good news. We got some high school baseball on from the Chuck.
Oh, great.
Looks like they've increased attendance, maybe.
Oh, yeah. That's more people than I expected.
7 to 10 down there right now. All right, so we'll be watching that all show long. We'll be sure to keep you updated.
Michigan up on Georgia 3-0 in the third.
Huge.
Both teams wearing just generic knockoffs of their university.
Yep, that's what it looks like. Yeah. Today on the show, we'll hear from Bryan Munson here in just a little bit. It's been a busy week in recruiting and busy times going forward, of course, for Nebraska. They've fallen a little short, maybe, in recruiting. We could ask Munson in just a few minutes. Bryan Christopherson, 11:30. Stephen M Sipple at 12:30. And our man, George Shea. Who's George Shea?
Great question.
He's the guy who'll be on your television on the 4th of July. I'm sure you'll be watching the Nathan's Famous hot dog eating contest from Coney Island, beautiful Coney Island in New York. He'll be the guy shouting things at you at about 11 o'clock. He's also the commissioner of Major League Eating. Mm-hmm. We have some questions. We do.
Can I
join the show in the 1 o'clock hour?
Can I very quickly read his Twitter bio?
Yes.
Now, he doesn't use Twitter a lot, but this is his bio. There's a link to his Cameo page, by the way. And then it says, they say competitive eating is the battleground upon which God and Lucifer wage war for men's souls.
So you're going to want to tune in.
Yeah.
That's what you're telling people. Yeah.
That is how George speaks.
That's the lineup powered by the Roofery's at John Higgins Weather Guard. Want to hear from you guys, 402-951-1620 on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline. You can call or text that number. Tweet at Happer Show, at Connor Happer on the J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Email Connor, Josh O at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. And, of course, we say good morning to the YouTube streamers today. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining. Also, you can watch live conveniently on zonetv.live. Elsewhere on the show today, we got to get to that Caitlin Clark thing, obviously.
Today's the day. The story keeps changing. Today's the day we get it.
I'm swelled with red, white, and blue pride after a great event last night. Sure, we'll dive deep into that.
Oh, very deep. Nitty gritty.
Bronny James. Many people are talking about Bronny James. Some Nebraska football stuff, of course, as always. And Patrick Mahomes. People are wondering if he's too old. When will he retire? He's obviously getting very close.
Obviously.
So, get to all those things on the show today. I got to take a quick break here, though. We'll get to Munson at the top of the hour. Come back, a little more coming at you next on 1620 The Zone.
For the Jays, the Huskers, and even you Jayskers, we are 1620 The Zone.
Don't answer that. It's another roof gypsy ringing the doorbell. They are attempting to capitalize on the misfortune that Mother Nature has thrown your way. Make the right call to a trusted company that has faithfully served the Omaha area for over 35 years. The Rivalries at John Higgins Weather Guard.
For roofing, siding, and gutter repair, make the right call to John Higgins Weather Guard.
John Higgins Weather Guard, the home of the Rivalries. Make the right call.
Ramona's Mexican Restaurant, previously located at 30th and Reddick and now at 30th and Willett in historic Florence, is still the way you remember it. Nachos, deep fried burritos, and those amazing cinnamon chips. Have a margarita or a cocktail. Open until 2 a.m. on Friday and Saturdays too. And try Ramona's Out of This World 2.5-pound massive burger with cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, and pickles. Ramona's Mexican Restaurant. Stop in today. Follow them on Facebook for specials and news about their monthly musical bingo.
Need meat for your 4th of July party? Stampede Ranch Farms has you covered. 20 ribeyes for $40 is back at Westroads Mall by Von Mauer, Oakview Mall by Gulf Galaxy, and Tractor Supply off L Street in Omaha, and Tractor Supply in Council Bluffs at the end of South Expressway. Steak, chicken, pork chops, and seafood. Stock up now on prices on meat you haven't seen since 2019. Bulk family party packs to fill your freezer. Westroads Mall by Von Mauer, Oakview Mall by Gulf Galaxy, and Tractor Supply off L Street in Omaha, and Tractor Supply in Council Bluffs at the end of South Expressway. 20 ribeyes for $40. Huge truckload meat sale is going fast. Huge bulk deals on New York strips, fillets, mega ribeyes, gourmet smash burgers, plus chicken and seafood. All payments accepted. Cash, credit, debit, and EBT. Look for the big truck and big tent and signs that say 20 ribeyes for $40. Plus huge bulk deals on steak, chicken, seafood, and pork. Limited time. Westroads Mall by Von Mauer, Oakview Mall by Gulf Galaxy, and Tractor Supply off L Street in Omaha, and Tractor Supply in Council Bluffs at the end of South Expressway.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/radio and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
All right, welcome back. Bryan Munson's going to join us here in just a moment. Like I said, just love when our country comes together and watches something on television. You know, it's and more so than what it's about. It's when we all come together and we agree, wow, this is a great thing for America. My heart is swelling with American pride after the presidential debate last night. Very cool, very insightful, learned a lot. And just wanted to take a second and say, what a great moment for our country.
Loved how much policy was discussed.
There's just nothing like two guys who are experienced and really have a good feel for things.
Experienced.
Nothing like those guys just talking about the issues. I love talking about the issues.
Just really got down to the nitty gritty.
Yep.
Which is what it's all about.
Like I said, it's one of those things that it's the same thing when you cast your ballot, it just makes your heart swell with patriotic and American pride. So that's what I felt last night.
It's like watching America's under-20 football team lose by 3 touchdowns to Japan.
I went and played slow pitch softball last night, as I do on Thursday nights, and I was wondering as I was driving there, I wonder what the first thing I'm going to see. Like, I wonder what the topic is going to be that everyone is talking about from this. And it turned out to be the part where they were arguing about their golf handicaps, which was good and was very coherent. And I thought, that's about right. I felt bad last night, Josh, because I hit one up the middle. You're not supposed to hit it up the middle in softball. You're not supposed to hit it at the pitcher.
There's a lot of rules about where you can hit it and when.
There's a lot of unwritten rules. I hit one up the middle, and
I can control that.
Well, it went off the. You can. I mean, it's slow pitch softball. You should be able to.
A good hitter can. I'm saying I can't.
Yeah, but you don't play. And the people on the Jack Mitchell softball team probably can't. Control it either.
Mm-hmm.
But regular people probably can. And so I hit like a little one hopper back up the middle, and it went off the pitcher's glove, and it hit him in the eye.
Oh gosh!
And he was like down for a few minutes, and I was like, oh man. This is not a good look for me.
No.
I thought about it.
You're a public figure. You got to be careful.
I know. I thought about retiring myself right there. I thought, you know what? I'm not going to run to first base. If you guys want to throw me out, that's fine. But I didn't do that either because we had to get the dub. Yeah, had to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just means a lot. Means a lot.
More than a game, some would say.
Yeah, it's huge. It's a big deal. Like I said, elsewhere on the show. So I'm definitely not mad. Don't put it on the internet that I'm mad about Nebraska's standing in the stupid video game. We're not going to talk about it that much today, but it is an excuse to bring up Nebraska's defense and how good they may or may not be this year. Spoiler alert, I do expect them to be a top 25 defense in the country, regardless of where EA Sports has them.
Hello.
Yes. So we'll be, depending on what metric you look at, we'll look at a bunch of metrics from last year. But first, before we get to Munson here, very interesting story from Mike Florio yesterday. This is weird. Why would this question come up? They're wondering, how long will Patrick Mahomes play? And now I will have you guys know, and I know people were talking about this like it was clickbait, and I'll have you know that it was indeed clickbait because I clicked on it, and all Mike Florio had to do yesterday was tell people, hey, click on the story and see what's inside of there. And so here's what it is. Did you know this? There is a Patrick Mahomes Coors Light commercial that is just going to go into the vault until he retires.
I knew the first part. I knew that every year he records a Coors Light commercial where he's like, hey,
yes,
I can't, you do the voice better than me, but I can't be in a Coors Light commercial, but I'm in a Coors Light commercial anyway because it's 2024 and the rules don't matter anymore.
This will be cool. This is a great idea. This is like us wishing people various different happy holidays on not the day, which you might see coming up next week.
Interesting.
He's 28. He'll be 29 on September 17th, and he'll get, here's what it says in the story. As he gets closer to 30, the questions about how long he'll play are inevitable. They're inevitable for two other reasons. First, Mahomes, the latest ad for Coors Light, which has a recent habit of cheekily tiptoeing around the prohibition on active players doing beer commercials, says that the commercial will be put in a time capsule until Mahomes retires. So when will that be? Basically, Florio is wondering, how long before we get to see this Coors Light commercial?
That's the reason we want him gone.
That leads to a second reason. Via Marca.com, Mahomes' mother recently suggested in a podcast appearance that Patrick might not stick around until he's halfway to 90, which is another way of saying 45, Josh.
Look, real quick, Connor, I'm sorry. we're putting out 4 hours of content.
Yep.
Every weekday. I know you sometimes you lean on a guest that you want to get because
Patrick Mahomes' mom, not a good one.
You don't need to talk to Patrick Mahomes' mom. Just talk about anything else.
Quote, if I hear him, make comments like, if the game takes away from my kids, I might not play as long as Tom Brady. And I'm like, I'm so proud of him for that. Randy Mahomes said on the Mom Game podcast.
Okay, so maybe
this is the right way to go then,
Yeah,
Josh.
yeah.
Any other thoughts now? Yeah, change your mind on that one quick.
Boy, you got me.
Florio just wonders out loud, how long will Patrick Mahomes play? For 2 reasons. Number one, because his mom said he might not play till 45, and I want to see those Coors Light commercials.
I appreciate how lazy and well-respected Mike Florio is. How both of those things can run concurrently of each other.
Yeah, but well-respected. I don't know. Jeff writes in, why is this even a topic? Great question.
Great.
We're wondering the exact same thing. We're building a topic today, this exact topic, on why is this a topic? That's basically why we bring it up.
Why ask why?
Why do we care how long Patrick Mahomes play? He's 28.
That was a beer commercial slogan. Why ask why?
He's 28. He'll, we can probably check on this again in 7 years or so, after he's had a couple more Super Bowls, right?
Oh, there's got to be, yeah.
You can only hope to contain the Chiefs. So that's what the NFL world is wondering about. That, and where they're going to find a couple billy to pay to people who had DirecTV.
Yeah, you're going to get a lot of streaming playoff games that are charged a premium to those networks.
Big Al writes in.
Hi, Big Al.
Florio thinks Andy Reid's going to retire after every season too. Yeah.
Well, that's one of
we
those.
just have to wonder when people are going to retire.
Yeah.
When are these people going to retire?
A lot of people love a changing of the guard.
Good question from Joe. Has Zach Wilson's mom ever been a guest on the Mom Game podcast? Or has Zach Wilson himself ever been a guest on the Mom Game podcast?
That is a great question.
Speaking of things that are related to that category of things, I don't know what to do with the Kyle Filipowski story. We probably got to open it up for interpretation at some point during the show today, though.
Yeah, I've got several questions.
Okay.
I'd love an answer.
I'm glad.
Maybe you can provide one.
Maybe
Look at
not.
that. That's
though.
Dirk Nowitzki on the Mom Game podcast.
Oh wow, Mom Game. You can do a podcast about anything these days, Josh.
It's not a podcast if it's a video on YouTube.
No, it is. Oh, it is. Oh, it is. Even if it's a video on YouTube, it's still a podcast.
223 episodes already.
Look at that. They're going along just fine. I talked to Patrick Mahomes' mom.
Uh-huh.
All right. We have a podcast. It's just this show cut up into segments. And one of the segments of the podcast will feature Bryan Munson next on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Funplex asked an AI assistant where you find ultimate summer fun. And,
Funplex, Nebraska's largest water park and rides, now with the brand new spinning, tilting Wipeout. Tasty treats, special events, private cabanas, and more. Probability of unforgettable fun, 100%. Funplex is the best choice for an all-in-one day of summer excitement.
So, see you at Funplex then?
I am a language model.
Yeah, fair enough. Get your human tickets at fun-plex.com. Let's go!
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we provide no-cost digital resources in place of textbooks and most courses. And that's not all. You'll receive your accredited online education at an affordable tuition with a choice from more than 135 degree and certificate programs. With online and hybrid courses, get everything you need to succeed again. Learn more at umgc.edu, certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
When it comes to protecting your home, J. Stennett Contracting takes pride in ensuring every detail is handled. Roofing, siding, gutters. When it comes to the exterior of your home, J. Stennett Contracting has you covered. Water, wind, and hail can wreak havoc on the exterior of your home. If your home is damaged, let J. Stennett Contracting come out for a no-obligation inspection. If repairs are needed, they will help you through every step of the process. When you need an honest assessment, J. Stennett Contracting has you covered. JSCrestoration.com.
How do you celebrate the expansion of Lindley Clothing with the addition of Well Suited? Well, you have a BOGO 50% off sale. Right now, Lindley Clothing, buy one, get one 50% off sale on suits and sports coats. Buy one suit or sports coat at regular price and get a suit or sport coat of equal or lesser value at 50% off. Now, the sale is going on now, but it ends with a bang on July 3rd. If you haven't been to Lindley Clothing, get there now and check out Well Suited as well. More sizes, more styles, more selection. In the Linden Market at 132nd and West Dodge, you'll enjoy easy access to Lindley Clothing.
Twisted Thunder Fireworks is going to save you big money. You'll find the best variety and the lowest prices in the entire state of Nebraska. Don't believe us? See page after page of products and pricing online at twistedthunder.com, where you can watch everything before you buy and choose local pickup so it's ready to go for you at the tent. Go to twistedthunder.com to check out all of our locations in Nebraska as well as our location in Council Bluffs. That's twistedthunder.com.
How do you celebrate the expansion of Lindley Clothing with the addition of Well Suited? Well, you have a BOGO 50% off sale. Right now, Lindley Clothing, buy one, get one 50% off sale on suits and sports coats. Buy one suit or sports coat at regular price and get a suit or sport coat of equal or lesser value at 50% off. Now, the sale is going on now, but it ends with a bang on July 3rd. If you haven't been to Lindley Clothing, get there now and check out Well Suited as well. More sizes, more styles, more selection. In the Linden Market at 132nd and West Dodge, you'll enjoy easy access to Lindley Clothing.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's business cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp for free. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. ramp.com/sports.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone.
Come out!
Bryan Munson.
Hey, long call. Comfy left Zoom Buster. 63 Bang Z Maui. Alert. Paradise Z Burger Y Wrap on one.
Husker Online on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Oh, just another week in Cruton. Bryan Munson of Husker Online joins us now via the 42 Degrees The Source hotline. Munson, hello. Happy Friday. How are you?
I'm good, man. Obviously leading up to a little holiday and vacation time here, so I think people should be ready for recruiting to get really hot over the next week or so. So it's going to be fun to kind of watch some of this stuff kind of fall.
It's been it's been sort of warm this week, I guess, with the variety of a variety of different stories. Let's start. Okay, I guess we'll start with a good ending to a story, I suppose, for Nebraska and Brian Tapu, who interestingly enough took a visit to Oregon State last weekend, ended up was deemed to be sort of a lean to Nebraska. Nebraska felt good about it. Then he ended up committing to Oregon State. Mass confusion ensues. Then he ends up decommitting from Oregon State and then committing to Nebraska yesterday. Take us through the last 7 to 10 days here for Mr. Tapu.
Yeah, I mean, and add to that, I mean, I could only imagine what it was like in the offices in the North Stadium this week. I mean, with Tapu doing what he did after he visited Oregon State, the kind of how things kind of came back up again with TJ Lateef and potentially, looking around a little bit, maybe not looking so firm anymore. I felt like when I spoke with Tapu the week before, the Oregon State trip was just a visit. He didn't, there was really no question in his mind. I felt like Coach Raiola, Coach Rule, I'll even go as far as to say his player host, with Gibson Pyle and Tyler Knack, playing a big role, and getting him to kind of feel like the love is there in Nebraska, the camaraderie was there, the culture was there. It was a little bit bizarre. I mean, honestly, and then to have him, I think that, however, being an international kid, and maybe not understanding 100% how this process kind of works and how you get very isolated very, very quickly, inside of it. I think that makes it very difficult sometimes to navigate the waters. And I kind of chalk it up a little bit to that. There's also a family, connection that he has back to his uncle that's on the staff at Oregon State. Certainly that played a role, in it. But I think that once he, returned home, thought about it, talked about things, backed off that commitment, and ultimately knew where he was going to go based on the experience and things that he had there in Lincoln on the weekend of June 14th. So I think Nebraska got, what they really needed in the class, because I think if you looked at last year's class with Bricks and Pyle, for examples, it was a lot of, and Landon Davidson too. I don't want to leave him out, and Jake Peters, and forgetting him as well, but a lot of interior offensive linemen, right? I mean, I think people feel like Bricks can play tackle. I think that's obviously something that he can do as well after I saw him in the spring. But I think ultimately he's got kind of an interior offensive lineman build, and they didn't really have that 6'5" plus guy. And Tapu doesn't come in necessarily at the 6'8", 300 that he was kind of touted to be, on 3 before we got it changed, but he was a 6'5", 300 guy. And very kind of just proportional, right? Like he uses all of that length. He fills out well. He's very long. He doesn't look like he has a lot of bad weight on him. So getting a chance to kind of work with a guy like that that's very athletic, finishes blocks, very aggressive, has a great punch, but then also can get really reach to the second level and get to his block and understands angles in pursuit. I think it's a really good get for Nebraska. I think that, may not be the Polynesian pipeline that people were kind of hoping for and talking about with all the Bishop Gorman guys. Seem like they're going to go all their separate kind of ways. But Torres is still out there, and we'll probably hear something. We will be hearing something from him as of Sunday afternoon this weekend. So still some stuff to happen.
Let's before we get to the bigger picture, let's spend a second here on Latif, who you mentioned with another interesting story this week. And so he's committed to Nebraska. He's been the quarterback in the class for several weeks now. And he did an interview and he was asked if his recruitment is shut down, where he said he didn't really want to talk about it. You have talked to him since. I guess what else have we learned? Is this more of a blip on the radar? Is this something that we kind of need to keep an eye on?
No, I think it's a blip. The way he explained it to me, and he's been very upfront and transparent with me with how things have kind of worked, up to this point. He's always taken my phone calls. He's always gotten back to me. I don't have any reason to feel like, he's trying to cover anything up, and talking to me earlier this week. The way he said it went down was very, I don't know. He wasn't thinking about doing an interview exactly where he was coming from. He had just got done doing a super hard kind of pro day like workout at the Elite 11 combine, and waiting for him there was another recruiting service that had the microphone out, and he was literally going on camera to kind of talk about things. And then the questions seemed to be kind of lined up with where his mind was probably at, that week with the Elite 11. And then there was just kind of this question that was a little bit off the cuff, a little bit off, off the radar a little bit. And he was thrown. He knows he didn't answer it properly. He's taken a lot of phone calls and received a lot of phone calls about it. But I think that in the end, he was just like, I know I didn't handle it properly. We're 100% in. This was a family decision. My parents we're all merched up now, red ends on the sneakers, walking around. I'm recruiting Michael Terry to try to get him to come out there with me to Nebraska. And I think people just have to understand that at some points in time, when you're just kind of you're in a very competitive mode that, you haven't really kind of changed gears yet. It hasn't clicked yet in your head. I think people misunderstand and misinterpret how stressful some of this stuff really is and how competitive these guys are, that, you're just coming off the field and you're thinking like, you can just go ahead and do this interview and not think anything else about it. And I really think that you're missing the overall aspect of that week, the competitive nature that they have, their relative ages. It's just, it was a little bit too much. I think that he realizes that it didn't come out right, and I don't think there's anything for Nebraska fans to worry about.
Okay. All right. That's TJ Lateef, and like I said, what an interesting story kind of that's been this week to follow. So bigger picture as we zoom out a little bit with the class, and we've talked about it all the way through here, but they've had a couple of big visit weekends over the last few weeks in June, and then this, really the seeds were set for a big June, as we talked about back when they brought in visitors for the spring game. Has it? Nebraska's, got, I think, second place for probably a handful of guys, and they've shot their shots at some really big time prospects, and they probably don't have the numbers at this point that I would have thought, or we would have thought, we would have expected them to have. Not that you have to. It's June, but I guess how would you, as we're at the end of the month now, Munson, how would you kind of grade out what they were able to come through with in the month?
Yeah, it's not going to be a great mark. I mean, it's C+, B- range. I mean, you've got, let me see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish probably guys still here that could fall, not including Sierra Wright. So you can get this number, into the high teens, 17, maybe 18 if you're lucky. And that's with a lot of things, I think, going Nebraska's way, which looked like, earlier this week, there was no juice. There was no momentum going into the dead period. And finally, Nebraska gets a little bit of a shot in the arm. So that's a great thing. But I think we all understand, based on the official visit numbers, that this was never going to be a big commit total kind of class for Nebraska. They've added some additional guys to the roster, like Nelson. They're trying to get right. They brought in some other dudes to kind of bolster the current numbers. But I think 2025 was like, if you hit 20, I feel like that was really kind of like the high end of what you were going to kind of be able to do this year. And I think that Nebraska kind of built in this kind of strategy where they wanted to be done with 2025 like end of July, like not waiting around on guys. Like, we want to be done. We want to get guys in the boat. We don't have to continue to recruit 2025. We got to be on to 2026. Everything accelerated over the last 2 years when it comes to the timelines and the rule changes that the NCAA has pushed out, that Nebraska has to get going and get their program on, to adjust to those timelines. So you really got to get back on the 2026 group, to where those guys are the ones that are really visiting at the end of the summer barbecue and the end of July, that kind of weird day or two that's there between the dead period ending, in July. So I'd say C+, B-. I think they understand that they need to figure out what the secret recipe really is when it comes to that spring game, kind of weekend there in May, because it just didn't turn out the way that they had hoped. Bring in a quarterback they feel like is going to be the guy in the class, bring in their top 3 targets to kind of go along with it, as well as top DB, top offensive lineman. You only get the quarterback, and, you really probably been better off bringing in that quarterback a little later on, maybe potentially in the week. Maybe that becomes a commitment weekend, in the month of April or month of May.
Last year, it was, I remember having these conversations quite a bit, and we have to kind of almost transport ourselves back into a year ago because a lot of things have changed. But, Daniel Kalen had committed in, whether it was late May or June of last year, after Nebraska had kind of moved on from Dylan Raiola. And he was the peer recruiter, the kind of momentum starter for the class. He was local and kind of on campus every weekend and helping kind of, make that process go a little bit smoother with 2024 recruits. you know, as I look at this year, and not that they're short on local recruits, they're not at the moment, although there are a couple big ones sitting out there. Is it and their quarterback is obviously not local and not able to be around all that much. So a lot of times the quarterback is kind of that person in the class. Does that feel like kind of what Nebraska's missing maybe at this point, just in terms of getting that ball rolling a little bit downhill? Just having a guy in the class who can really be that outward kind of peer recruiter.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you think about the importance of Daniel Kalen, and you know, when he started to introduce him back into the class and into the visit weekends. Now, he said he was going to be there every weekend, you know, even if it wasn't his official visit. Number one, you think about who the guys were that were kind of still hanging out, you know, that were still like top priorities for Nebraska. You had in-state target Carter Nelson, tight end, that comes in the last weekend in June, along with Grant Bricks. And although Grant Bricks wasn't an in-state guy, I mean, you could have thrown a stone over there and hit his town, you know, on the other side of Missouri. So he was really in Nebraska's backyard as much as he was Iowa State or Iowa or whomever. I mean, considering the other two or three schools that he was considering, he definitely was the most local school. So I think that's such a great point, because Daniel Kalen, you know, was there. He was local. He's the two wide receivers also in the class from his high school team. There was a nice little kind of group within the group, which I'm not saying that there isn't, because, you know, by the looks of it, you know, this last weekend you had Vermoss and Newberry and Turch and Carpenter hanging out with, you know, like Hawthorne, and you can still kind of get that kind of group there, but it's not being led kind of by that ringleader and a guy that really subscribed to, I think, you know, trying to help out and build the class around him and kind of having that position of emphasis too as a quarterback. That's definitely missed right now.
Yeah. Bryan Munson of Husker Online. So you mentioned it. What does July need to be here for Nebraska football to kind of get this back on? I don't know if it's off track, but get yourself feeling kind of good. Obviously it's a big month. It's the last big, even though it's sort of more dead than obviously June was in terms of actual recruiting. But you know, at the end of July, you start to focus on the kind of season and go from there. So this is like the recruiting heavy only month. What does July need to be for Nebraska?
Yeah. So if you're at 12 now, you have some, you know, announcement dates here coming up over the weekend. You have, like I'd mentioned before, you had Kahaina Torres announcing 3:00, 4:00 on Sunday afternoon. You have Jeremiah Jones, the big, long, athletic defensive back, you know, possible wide receiver target that's going to announce on Monday at 3:00 Central. Bryson Weber is going to be sometime, I think, you know, out to like next Saturday, although there's not really like kind of a honed in kind of date and time for him. Sean Hammerbeck, very similar, offensive tackle, defensive lineman from Winter, South Dakota. You know, he's a guy that I still have a hard time kind of figuring out like where he's at and what he's kind of thinking about. Every report I've heard, you know, had a great time at Nebraska, but he had great trips to Lubbock, you know, and he's getting a lot of pressure, you know, to kind of go to Kansas State, and you know, then you have Will Hawthorne. And I think the difficulty with Will Hawthorne was Nebraska was completely off his radar. He wasn't even going to go to camp until Nebraska kind of urged him to do it and said an offer could be in his future. And then at the very end of it, you know, when he takes that last official visit the last weekend in June, I think he understands how serious Nebraska is about wanting him. It's not just this kind of lip service. Everything's kind of come full circle now with feeling the love from Nebraska, but now all of a sudden, you know, where he's from, I mean, he's from, you know, it's not from Ames proper, but he's right outside of Ames. So that's a difficult one when you're going up against a Cyclone. So I think you're talking 4, maybe 5. Then you bring in Chase Lofton, you know, you got to bring in Christian Jones names here a little bit. There's been a couple of new offers based on some recent decommitment activity. Like I said, though, I don't think that I don't think Nebraska wants to be too involved with 2025 recruiting unless they have these massive holes or
Right.
just a guy that you can't miss with. So it's going to be interesting to see how things kind of move forward after July.
All right, Brian, we will let you go. Enjoy your weekend and enjoy some time off. And we won't chat with you next week. We'll reconvene here in a couple weeks and see where things have ended up. Appreciate you coming on as always, my friend. Talk to you later.
Have a safe fort, buddy. See ya.
Bryan Munson of HuskerOnline.com. Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. I mean, June kind of put you behind the 8 ball a little bit for 24. It's going to be a smaller class, but 25. And then you wanted to kind of get ahead a little bit more than you ended up doing. And you had some decisions that didn't go your way. And so you're playing a little bit of catch up, I guess, at this point. But, keep in mind, things can change really quickly. And if Nebraska, starts off the season and they're 3-0, 4-0, 5-0, they get a couple big wins in there. Yeah, naturally some momentum will obviously, continue to build that way. Let's take another break here. We'll come back with Brian Christopherson, Husker 24/7. We'll ask him some football-related questions. Let's talk about that defense a little bit. Next on 1620 The Zone.
Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
I read a book about the idea of aliens being a thing. What is that, a new concept? Someone writing about aliens? No. It talked about if we're going to find aliens, how we hope to find them. Boy, that sounds like a really exciting book. It was a great book. I ripped right through it.
John, this is why you don't have fun. You don't allow yourself to wonder.
I wonder all the time. I wonder how I've made it this long being next to you two.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Friday is a severe weather day with a chance for strong to severe storms in the metro, mainly between 2 and 6 p.m. All modes of severe weather in play with any stronger storms. Otherwise, expect warm, humid, and breezy conditions with highs in the mid to upper 80s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV Newswatch 7.
The Connor Happer Show returns in minutes on 1620 The Zone.
At Cox Mobile, we know you're smart. You brush your teeth in the shower to save time, make coffee ice cubes for your cold brew, and wear goggles to cut onions. You also added Cox Mobile. So smart. Now you're running on the network with unbeatable 5G reliability and saving on your Cox internet. It's ingenious, just like you.
Aw, thanks.
Cox Mobile, the smart way to mobile. Cox postpaid internet required. Cox Mobile runs on the network with unbeatable 5G reliability as measured by Ookla LLC in the U.S. to H 2023. Other restrictions apply. Learn more at cox.com/mobile.
Baseball, food, music, and entertainment. It's unlimited fun for all ages at Omaha Storm Chasers games. For the kids, there's the Centris Family Fun Zone. For adults, there's drink specials at the Bud Light Town Draft Bar. And on select Saturday pregame, there's live music for everyone. There's no better way to spend a summer day than with your Chasers family. Get your tickets today at OmahaStormChasers.com.
Omaha Storm Chasers family. Everyone get on your feet, stir up the storm, we're family.
Hi, I'm Nick Bermel, owner of Royalty Roofing. The recent storms wreaked havoc on our community. Our team at Royalty Roofing is here to help. We're local, skilled, licensed, and bonded. We work for you to ensure you get the funds you deserve and make sure that the work is done to your satisfaction. Don't take risks with your biggest investment, your home. We are Better Business Bureau Integrity Award winners and Best of Omaha winners. Cover your roof with Royalty. Visit us today at royaltyroofing.org.
Hey Nebraskans, your signatures are needed to finally legalize medical marijuana, but time is limited. There's nearly 1 week left. Get to the state's best liquor stores, wine, beer, and spirits today and sign. Support nmn2024.org to make a donation.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Need meat for your 4th of July party? Stampede Ranch Farms has you covered. 20 ribeyes for $40 is back at Westroads Mall by Von Mauer, Oakview Mall by Gulf Galaxy, and Tractor Supply off L Street in Omaha, and Tractor Supply in Council Bluffs at the end of South Expressway. Steak, chicken, pork chops, and seafood. Stock up now on prices on meat you haven't seen since 2019. Bulk family party packs to fill your freezer. Westroads Mall by Von Mauer, Oakview Mall by Gulf Galaxy, and Tractor Supply off L Street in Omaha, and Tractor Supply in Council Bluffs at the end of South Expressway. 20 ribeyes for $40. Huge truckload meat sale is going fast. Huge bulk deals on New York strips, fillets, mega ribeyes, gourmet smash burgers, plus chicken and seafood. All payments accepted. Cash, credit, debit, and EBT. Look for the big truck and big tent and signs that say 20 ribeyes for $40. Plus huge bulk deals on steak, chicken, seafood, and pork. Limited time. Westroads Mall by Von Mauer, Oakview Mall by Gulf Galaxy, and Tractor Supply off L Street in Omaha, and Tractor Supply in Council Bluffs at the end of South Expressway.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
I plan to rearrange my closet, but I stopped after picking the clothes up off the floor.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's award-winning language learning app will help you start speaking another language. Start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
Comment tu t'appelles? Comment tu t'appelles? Vous êtes où?
Vous êtes où?
Babbel's bite-sized lessons make it easy to learn words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks,
"How's your French going?"
you can say,
Babbel est amusant et facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue. Et cela ne prend que 15 minutes par jour.
When you want to really learn another language, it starts with Babbel. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Hey, Brian. Bryan Christopherson.
I gotta take this a tap.
B. Rooney drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry.
Bryan Christopherson, Husker 24/7 on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, let's talk some football with Bryan Christopherson of Husker 24/7. UC joins us now via the 42 Degrees Source Hotline. Brian, hello. How are you?
Doing well. On a family trip up to Minnesota for some fishing.
Okay. Hey, did you have to avoid the flooding heading north?
Mild detour. My dad handled it well. We're close to Sioux City. Hopefully the reception holds up, but I think we're home free now. Dogs are safely in the car. No Griswold situation where we left one outside, so it's good.
Oh, no, Dinkums. Wasn't that the dog's name? Dinkums or something like that? Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so, yes.
Okay, yeah, okay. That's good. We don't want one of those situations, that's for sure. Very excited because it's almost camp countdown season, and that means the 24/7 sports crew is about to start the 24 most indispensable Huskers for 2024. So you gave us some names here that were left off the list, that did not make the top 24. And I was interested to see that a couple running backs were on here. I want to start the conversation there because I always like to talk about what's going on in Nebraska's running back room. So Ramir Johnson didn't make the list, and Gabe Ervin also did not make the list. I would assume that Emmett Johnson is on the list somewhere in there. But what does that say that Nebraska, there's 3 guys in that room. I view them all in kind of similar ways. They're all going to get carries, I think, for Nebraska this year. I guess how do you kind of unpack that with especially getting the voting from your other 2 colleagues?
Yeah, I think it says that Brun Schaefer and I basically weren't sure what to make of who's necessarily going to be the front dog. So we who did we leave off at the top, or who was at the top when we left this story last year? And that would have been Emmett Johnson, of course. That was due to injury, but we're intrigued how Gabe Ervin's going to come back from his second major injury. Hopefully he's good to go. It sounds like he is, but you don't know until he does it. Ramir is a personal favorite of mine, and I think a lot of Husker fans, so I think everybody wants that story to really roll along, but it's that piece where you kind of have to go back to 2021 until you saw how he could really be used and where he was just really piling up some numbers. So I think that kind of held some people back, where it was just like, okay, we got to have one entry in the top 24, but we maybe don't have room for 2 or 3 when you start to work your way through the entire roster.
It's funny. A lot of these guys that aren't, and you can check it out at Husker247.com, but there's a lot of these guys that didn't end up making the list that are going to be like, important, impactful players for Nebraska this year. I guess as you kind of pulled it apart player by player, did you find that like the depth situation is probably in a little better place this time around?
Yeah, and when you think about it, making a list now is different than even a couple of years ago, because let's go back to last season where Tony White, like in the opener against Minnesota, used like 23 guys on defense in the first half or something. So, I mean, Mekhi Bayer is an important player, and he's not quite in the top 24, but he sure means a lot to the team. I think Justin Evans is going to mean a lot to this squad just because he's a versatile guy who could start at offensive guard, and he's probably your backup center behind Ben Scott. He's a guy I feel strongly about. Of course, everybody sees it a little differently, so there's certain guys that I had on my list that didn't actually make it because of our vote. I think Malcolm Hartzog, for the honorable mention list I did the other day, he was probably the one where when I wrote his name, I was like, man, maybe he should be in there somewhere in that 24. I have to be honest, because I was thinking, like, he's going to play a lot, and that if Nebraska gets in a pinch at either corner or safety, he can go in there. And so in a way, he does fit this list to a T. So I'll cop to that one on the air. That was one where I was writing yesterday where I was like, man, I kind of wish he was at least at like number 18 or something. So sometimes that happens with lists like these.
Well, it's like filling out your NCAA tournament bracket, and you're like, why do I have all 1 seeds, the Final Four? I didn't mean to do that, but that's kind of what happened.
That's what happened there. But anyway.
Bryan Christopherson of Husker 247 is with us. Okay, so regardless of where EA Sports has Nebraska's defense rated this year, which is outside of the top 25, so I pulled together some stats, and we'll talk about this a little bit later. Last year, they were 11th in points per game allowed in the country, 5th in yards per play allowed in the country, inside the top 10 in opponent rush yards per game, and they were inside the top 40 in opponent pass yards per game. By pretty much every metric, they were a top, 10 to 15-ish defense last year. And so the list actually kind of goes along with it a little bit, BC, as you kind of look at the group this year and think about how it mixes as well with the offense, because that's an important piece of it as well. What should be the expectations for Nebraska's defense this year, even though EA Sports is obviously not that high on them?
I think they should expect and strive to be a top 10 defense, because they basically were that last year in most of the categories as you named off. This is year 2 in Tony White's system. They do return a lot of key players, really at all the levels. I know there's some question at linebacker, but John Bullock's the guy even there who's gotten a lot of snaps, and I think they like some of the young guys coming up like Vincent Shavers, and you got Bayer and all that. But you start with the D-line, and that's where you feel good about it, because I don't think it's any secret that Nash is going to be very high on like a list like ours, and just the way that he disrupts everything an offense wants to do as far as clogging the run, pushing the pocket. He's going to be a difference maker. Ty Robinson, Jamari Butler. I mean, that's a strength. Like a lot of teams would kill to have, 3 guys like that. And we're not even to like Cam Lenhart and Prince Will and, Riley Van Poppel. There's all these interesting guys, Sua Lafotu. I mean, they should have a lot of depth there. So I think defense should have those expectations, but I also like how Tony White talked about it in the spring, where that's what they're striving to be, but you haven't earned anything off of last year, basically. Like every day you got to put it forward. Like this is a new time, a new thing to prove, new group of guys. And they're going to need a few new faces to step up at like one of the corner spots, for instance. But when I look at the defense as a whole, there's like 8 or 9 of the 11 spots where I would nod my head and say, I feel pretty good about that. They should be all right.
All right, Brian. We'll let you go. Have a safe trip. Enjoy, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks, guys.
Brian Christopherson of Husker 247, just making the drive up north. Got to get on that lake.
Family truckster.
Motor coach. I wonder if he's on a motor coach.
There's probably a motor coach involved. Why wouldn't there be?
I don't know. Negative Mike writes in. Negative Mike. Look at how negative this comment is, too.
Whoa.
What's going to happen with the defense when Tony White leaves? Well, guess what?
Didn't you hear Matt Rule?
Guess what, Negative Mike? They don't have to worry about that right now because Tony White is still here. And
I guess that's true, too.
Also, like you said, yeah. Did you hear what Matt Rule said? Hey, we're going to be good at defense. We're going to be good at defense no matter what. I want to we'll pick that apart a little bit more in the noon hour before we talk to Sipple. Just talk a little bit about that defense because, I mean, you know, for as much like we talk about the offense all the time and
constantly.
Nobody knows what it's going to be and how good is Dylan Raiola and how good are those wide receivers and what's the deal with the running backs and the offensive line. I mean, so where you expect the defense to be is a huge part of the equation for this year. And so if they can repeat some of those numbers that they brought to the table last year, it's going to make it a lot easier for that offense and then, you know, be able to win some games in the meantime. So we'll get into that in the noon hour. Quick break. We will return with the odd news next on 1620 The Zone.
Now live on Twitch, YouTube, and 1620thezone.com.
The world's largest sports book in Las Vegas is available right at your fingertips in Iowa. The Circa Sports Iowa app is sports betting the way it should be. Bet anywhere in Iowa and experience high betting limits, tight money line splits, and exceptional customer service. Download your new bookie today. Visit circasports.com and start betting like a pro from anywhere in Iowa. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-238-7633.
Funplex has asked me to give you a first-hand account of the all-new for 2024 Wipeout attraction.
Okay, hit it.
We're starting up. Spinning a little now. Whoa, a lot.
The centrifugal force is starting to stretch my face. Holy this thing's fast. Whoa, it's tilting. We have tilting. Woohoo, this is awesome. You got to try this. Get your tickets now at fun-plex.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-761-0000, 800-761-0000, 800-761-0000.
Drinking and driving causes serious harm to friends, family members, and loved ones. In 2021, 65 people were killed in Nebraska by a car crash involving a drunk driver. Do not drink and drive. By drinking less, you can still be here for your loved ones. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/radio. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at HIMSS, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/radio and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. hims.com/radio.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
All right, it's time for the odd news. So we got a weird gap in our day of high school baseball. I was looking forward to watching high school baseball all day long.
I want baseball.
Aren't they playing games out at the Tal as well?
Oh, who's to say?
Oh, did they? No, they definitely are. It's just they're only televising the ones on ESPN Plus at the Chuck.
Really?
I don't know. That's what ESPN Plus is telling me.
Bizarre
at the moment. Now I have to watch all clips of Bronny coverage on ESPN,
which is great.
Anyway, yeah, I love it. It's awesome. A lot of great things to talk about in sports these days.
Yeah, there's 2 games going on right now.
All right, Josh, let's do the odd news. What do we got?
Okay. We begin with the U.S. Senior Open.
Oh.
Would love to start our day there.
Okay. Where's the U.S. Senior Open this year?
You know, that's a great question. I don't know. Not in Omaha.
Newport
News. Newark.
U.S. Senior Open 2024 location. It is Newport Country Club.
Hello.
That definitely tells me where.
It's in Newport.
Yep, Newport.
Home of the cigarettes.
Yeah, gotta be.
Well, Frank Bensel Jr. had quite a day.
Rhode Island.
This morning. He hit back-to-back holes in one.
Isn't that awesome?
That's incredible.
It's so cool.
I don't really have much more than that.
Oh, okay.
It's just neat.
Oh, I thought there was going to be an interesting story. So,
nope, it's just odd that it happened.
Bensel aced the 184-yard fourth and then followed it with another hole-in-one on the 203-yard fifth. Both, of course, are par threes. But I believe Bensel has not really done great in this tournament, despite his 2 on 2 holes.
Consecutive aces, and he's not doing great.
Let's check the leaderboard. I never thought I'd do this today, but U.S. Senior Open Golf leaderboard. Stephen Ames and Steve Stricker at the top. Steve Stricker dominates that thing, doesn't he? What was the guy's name? Bensel?
Yeah, Bensel Jr.
What? How is this possible? He is +9 for the tournament.
Oh my gosh.
Look at this card. Oh my goodness. Look at this card. All right. So this is his second round, which is today. He's in the clubhouse he shot 4 over. If I was a professional golfer, and I know he's old, he's a senior professional golfer.
He's 53.
But if I was a professional golfer and I turned in +4 with 2 hole-in-ones, I'd be pretty.
Are you just walking home?
I'd be pretty sad.
Yeah.
So he went par, bogey, par, ace, ace to get to -3 through 5, and then follow that up with bogey, 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 bogey.
Oh.
And so after 9, even though he had hit 2 hole-in-ones, he was 1 over par. That hurts. And then to finish the round today, he went par, par, bogey, bogey, par, bogey, par, par to turn in 74 once again with 2 hole-in-ones.
Pretty impressive. And for those of you asking, no, I cannot find his handicap.
Is it 6? Is it 8?
Well, he's 30 years away from needing to have a handicap that low. Moving on.
Yeah, good job, Josh.
To Connecticut. No, I want to do this other story first. Let's go across the pond.
Okay.
Let's go across the pond.
All right.
Today, Elsie Alcock turns 106 years old, Connor.
Who's that?
Well, I don't know if she's London, England's oldest person, but 106, the odds are in her favor. She's lived in the same house her entire life.
Oh, well, congratulations to her.
That's right. She was born on June 28th, 1918 in Nottinghamshire, England. It was the tail end of the First World War.
Yes.
King George V was king.
Mm-hmm.
She has seen 2 world wars and 4 royal coronations, all from the comfort of her 2-bedroom terrace. She left school at age 14 and stayed at home to help look after the family following the death of her mother, who died of pneumonia in 1932.
Wow.
When she married Bill Alcock in 1941, they both decided to continue living in the house with her father. In 1960, she bought the childhood home for £250, which is about $315 American dollars.
$300 for a house?
For a house.
Thanks, Biden.
Her father worked as a coal miner and started renting the house for 7 shillings and a sixpence in 1902. I looked it up. I couldn't find a straight conversion for that. It seems like it's around $40.
7 shillings and a sixpence.
That's right. Now, I'm familiar with sixpence none the richer.
106 years old, and today is her birthday. Happy birthday to Elsie Alcock.
106 years old. Same house.
Born Elsie Hall.
She hasn't left that house.
It appears as if you are reading off of a page from Gerontology Wikipedia. Gerontology.
I would never reveal a source.
The study of olds. Josh, did you ever take a gerontology class in college?
No.
Oh, I did.
Really?
Oh, yeah. A lot of fun. I took a lot of classes. Not a lot of credits, but a lot of classes.
Gerontology?
Gerontology is the study of old people, right?
Okay.
Or
I just need to know how to spell it so I can put the poll question up.
Gerontology.
Did you take a gerontology class in college?
Isn't that what that means?
Yeah.
Let me just make sure I got that right before I go. The study of the aging process. There you go. Not the study specifically of old people, but just the study of the aging process. What else is going on gerontology Wikipedia these days?
There's probably some current events in there.
So
maybe the events of last night.
So
nothing in particular.
She's 106. And we do not know where this ranks as far as.
I mean, I could probably look it up.
I
didn't have it in front of me.
We gotta have. Well, I mean, I thought that's kind of why you brought it up, but 100 we gotta have some 110-year-old people out there or something like that.
Ethel May Caterham, excuse me. Ethel May Caterham is the oldest living person in the United Kingdom at 114 years old, born in 1909.
On our first story, Joey writes in.
Hi, Joey.
On the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed, hole in one on a par threes, even a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while. But what if I told you a blind squirrel found 2 nuts in the span of 5 minutes?
2 nuts consecutively.
Yeah. And the squirrel was still blind.
2 nuts on back-to-back shots.
I think that's what makes it. I mean, seriously. If a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while, why don't I have a hole in one?
Mm-hmm.
I have none of that to my record.
Well, you haven't been out this year.
I've played 9 holes this year.
Oh, okay.
I played 9 holes at Miracle Hills like a month ago, probably.
Did you avoid the flood damage?
The flood damage? What was going on in the floods?
We got like 11 inches of rain in one day. Didn't they get flooded?
I don't know. This was like a month ago. I have no. It was a normal course. Oh yeah, it was. You know what? Now that I think about it, it was kind of flooded.
Right on 120th there.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
good memory, Josh.
Thank you. That's what they say about me.
And
we end in Connecticut for I know I did some truck spills of the week and called those the truck spill of the week. This is the truck spill of the week.
Might have to upgrade it to truck spill of the day.
Residents of a Connecticut neighborhood are dealing with a situation after Connor. Would you like to guess what was in the truck?
Yeah. Do I get it? That's all I get for context clues?
Gosh, how to give you a hint without giving it away?
Marital aids.
No, God, I hope not. It smells bad.
Poop?
Yes.
Great hint.
A manure truck rolled over, colliding with a car that was parked on the street, spilling its odoriferous cargo. Ann Beddard, whose house is located at the intersection of Deerfield Road and Bremen Hollow Road in Pomfret, Connecticut, said she heard the sound of the truck crash and rushed to investigate. She discovered a manure truck had rolled over and struck her neighbor's car, causing it to spray manure on her yard, a neighbor's yard, and their homes. She told a local TV station, "It was like literally a waterfall of brown. All of a sudden, we see the sewer come out of the truck, and then the petrol was coming out of the top." There's no way she said petrol.
Petrol.
It just flooded down our property. Nick Provost, co-owner of Provost Trucking, was on the scene with the team Wednesday to help clean up the spill. "We're going down 3 or 4 inches to make sure nothing seeped beyond that," he said. "Then we'll come back in tomorrow with fresh material and seed and replace everything that gets dug up today. The crash is still under investigation. The truck driver sustained only minor injuries."
Oh, okay, good. Poop truck.
Poop.
Always funny, Josh.
Yeah.
Always fun.
Always funny.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Connor.
That's the odd news. We'll be back after this. The noon hour, we'll talk some Nebraska football. And I mean, we could ask why I don't have a hole in one yet, if a blind squirrel does indeed find a nut.
These are good questions.
And talk about that Caitlin Clark thing eventually. Don't forget, Sipple will still join us during the show today. And George Shea, he of hot dogs. All to come
hot dogs
on the second half of the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
The Connor Happer Show.
Who's pitching tonight?
You Darvish, having a great year.
The Connor Happer Show.
I know about that guy.
On 1620 The Zone.
What a mess.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio. This is 1620 The Zone.
Worried about damage from the recent storms? J-Tech Construction is a local company you can count on to make your home right again. We are the official exterior experts of the Huskers. J-Tech Construction's team of experts can help you with your insurance restoration process. Turn to who the Huskers turn to and call 402-261-3682 today for your free assessment. Whether it's hail, wind, or just time for an update, J-Tech Construction's team is the trained local solution you can count on. Call 402-261-3682 today.
How do you celebrate the expansion of Lindley Clothing with the addition of Well Suited? Well, you have a BOGO 50% off sale. Right now, Lindley Clothing, buy one, get one 50% off sale on suits and sports coats. Buy one suit or sports coat at regular price and get a suit or sport coat of equal or lesser value at 50% off. Now, the sale is going on now, but it ends with a bang on July 3rd. If you haven't been to Lindley Clothing, get there now and check out Well Suited as well. More sizes, more styles, more selection. In the Linden Market at 132nd and West Dodge, you'll enjoy easy access to Lindley Clothing.
How powerful is Cox Fiber? Powerful enough to let your band members in Vegas, Phoenix, and Omaha jam like you're all in the same garage. Introducing Cox Fiber from the company with the fastest download speeds 9 years in a row. It's internet built for tomorrow, today. Cox, always building better. Limited availability in select areas. Speeds vary and are not guaranteed. Cox terms and other restrictions may apply. Analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence in Las Vegas, Omaha, Phoenix. Fixed median download speeds Q2 2016 to Q1 2024.
I'm Ryan Osted. Golf is great because it can be whatever you want it to be. If you want to go out and have a competitive 18 holes, you can make it that. If you want to go out and have a scramble and just have the time of your life, if you want to have a charity golf tournament to raise money for some great cause, you can make it that. It is flexible to be whatever you need it to be at that particular moment in your life. And I've needed golf to be different things at different points in my life. And I'm certainly thankful that I was able to learn the game as a kid and continue to play it now as an adult.
Play better, have fun, and shop Osted's.
Need meat for your 4th of July party? Stampede Ranch Farms has you covered. 20 ribeyes for $40 is back at Westroads Mall by Von Mauer, Oakview Mall by Golf Galaxy, and Tractor Supply off L Street in Omaha, and Tractor Supply in Council Bluffs at the end of South Expressway. Steak, chicken, pork chops, and seafood. Stock up now on prices on meat you haven't seen since 2019. Bulk family party packs to fill your freezer. Westroads Mall by Von Mauer, Oakview Mall by Golf Galaxy, and Tractor Supply off L Street in Omaha, and Tractor Supply in Council Bluffs at the end of South Expressway. 20 ribeyes for $40. Huge truckload meat sale is going fast. Huge bulk deals on New York strips, fillets, mega ribeyes, gourmet smash burgers, plus chicken and seafood. All payments accepted. Cash, credit, debit, and EBT. Look for the big truck and big tent and signs that say 20 ribeyes for $40. Plus huge bulk deals on steak, chicken, seafood, and pork. Limited time. Westroads Mall by Von Mauer, Oakview Mall by Golf Galaxy, and Tractor Supply off L Street in Omaha, and Tractor Supply in Council Bluffs at the end of South Expressway.
July 4th doorbusters are happening now at Lowe's. For a limited time only, save $70 on a Charbroil 4-burner Performance Series gas grill. Was $249, now $179. And get 50% off Harbor Breeze 48-foot LED outdoor string lights to brighten up your patio for summer. Shop these deals before they're gone, because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 7/1. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-893-2288, 800-893-2288, 800-893-2288.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Yeah, Josh, people have come up to me around the office this week and they've said, did you talk about the ice cream girl from the College World Series yet? So I heard about the ice cream girl. I watched the ice cream girl happen. And it turns out everybody's got to take on the ice cream girl, including the ice cream girl.
Yeah. Yes. She seemed to have the hottest take of all.
Yes. Josh had a take about the ice cream girl.
My take is this. She's right.
What did she say, Josh? Tell us the situation.
She said, look, I went to the College World Series. I sat down.
And I started eating ice cream.
It was very hot. I was trying to get it to not melt all over my hands like a normal human being.
Yeah.
And the Yahoos, the jackwagons at ESPN.
The jackwagons
were making it vaguely sexual. And now there's a bunch of perverts in my comments trying to, solicit me for hawk tuas.
So you can't do First of all, you can't do anything about the perverts. All right. I'm sorry.
I mean,
you can't do anything about the perverts. You can't do anything. The perverts the perverts will be there no matter what. But maybe that's what she was trying to say.
Yeah.
Don't put me on TV.
Yeah.
But she went to the baseball game, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
People get put on TV all the time. You know what they do? You know what they do when a fat guy drips nacho cheese on himself? They show him on the camera.
If an old falls asleep at the baseball game,
They show him.
none of those are sexual, though.
They're not sexual, so you don't get the perverts in the comments.
Oh, drip that nacho cheese.
But yes, she had a very long TikTok.
It was long. It was a little too long.
Very
but
long TikTok.
I'm on her side.
You're with Ice Cream Girl.
I stand with Ice Cream Girl.
She said, quote, it was a 20-second segments of just eating ice cream or licking our ice cream. 20 seconds dedicated with commentary to just us eating our ice cream. We all knew what direction that video was going to head into. And lo and behold, the creeps of TikTok got a hold of it because we woke up getting compared to the Hawk Tua girl, which no shade to her, girl, do whatever.
I do have
That was another shout out to the Hawk Tua girl.
One little note on that. I think she was maybe using her to boost the view.
Oh no! Oh, who's with Ice Cream Girl
with
now?
Ice Cream Girl.
Who's with Ice Cream Girl now?
But I think she was playing the algorithm by bringing that into it.
I don't. So let me look and see if I can see it on the screenshot here.
Like, how many more views do you think we would get if we hashtagged this very video that we're on right now
with Hawk Tua?
Hashtag Hawk Tua.
Probably a lot.
We should probably be doing that.
Yeah. So I was sitting up there watching the game in the comfort of my air-conditioned press box on Monday, and they give us the feed to ESPN, but I'm listening to our incredible national Westwood One radio broadcast
Best in the
featuring
biz.
Kevin Kugler and Scott Graham and John Bishop. And so I couldn't hear what they were saying, but when they showed those two young ladies on the screen, I thought, uh-oh.
Oh, no.
This is going to be a problem. Because
you were right.
They did really hold it on them for a while. Now, the point was, the point that they were trying to get across on TV, what? Now, I actually haven't heard the commentary. Have you?
No.
Okay. So how could you be on? You don't even know. How you don't
I
even
believe
know.
women, Connor.
Don't you want to hear the whole story? Anyway, the point I assume they were trying to get across was, it's hot outside. It was 150 degrees on Monday.
I assume that as well.
When we crown a national champion. So let's scan the crowd. Let's see if there's anybody eating their melty ass ice cream. And lo and behold, there's these two young ladies, and they did hold them on there for quite some time. I would not want to be depicted eating my ice cream either, not at the fear of myself being over-sexualized, but at the fear of what I would look like should I have been eating melted ice cream.
Oh, okay.
I don't want that out of embarrassment. I don't want to be on screen eating anything. But we all signed a social contract, Josh. We go to the baseball game, and you're signing up to go on camera.
She said she had a hot dog moments before the ice cream.
Oh no.
And had to eat it.
Oh no.
In a certain way to prevent the very thing that ended up happening to her with the ice cream. Yes.
Really? So
Yes.
she was conscious of eating the hot dog. What was she doing? Like eating it privately? Did she turn around?
I believe she said, like, I was like, taking little nibbles or eating it from the side so that no one could catch me on camera, over sexualizing it. And
it's just eating a hot dog.
The base level point was, hey, can't I just be a woman in public? Like, why do I have to like?
But this is not ESPN's fault. This is the creeps on TikTok.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you go to a baseball game, man. You're there. You're a part of the baseball game. It's hot outside. Here's some people eating ice cream,
chilling and grilling.
Annie is her name. She says, it's so beyond evident that women are not welcome in the sports world, she said. We just wanted to enjoy a baseball game, and it was 100 degrees, so God forbid we eat some ice cream. It's like we can't sit and eat our food in peace. Yeah, I don't know, man. Once again, you eat that, like, you know what happens when you go to one of those baseball games and you go to the concession stand and they offer you like a $35 gigantic hot dog. You know the camera's going to find you. trying to eat that gigantic hot dog, whether you're a man or a woman.
They got buzzers.
That kid
just sold one.
Just sold a gigantic hot dog. Go find this guy. Oh, turns out he's wearing a funny shirt. He's got long hair. He kind of,
he looks like if Grumpy Cat was a person.
Yeah.
Go find him.
Mike says,
hi, Mike.
Next year, I'm going to eat ice cream seductively, take my shirt off, and let the sweet, delicious ice cream drip all over my body.
Just trying to become the next viral sensation, Mike. Typical you.
So you agree with Ice Cream Girl? You are with her.
I stand with Ice Cream Girl.
Okay. Do you stand with Haktua? Ice Cream Girl Haktua. Handshake meme.
No, she's specifically saying no handshake.
No, that's what she was saying.
No
she said,
shade.
She said, God bless her. Haktua. Do whatever you like. You go, girl.
I stand with Ice Cream Girl.
Okay.
Do whatever you like there, Haktua Girl.
Alex and Lincoln, poll question. Do you stand with Haktua Girl or Ice Cream Girl?
I will not be doing that.
Probably not.
I will not be doing that.
Probably not.
I want to, but I will not be doing that.
An interesting question from the 402.
Hi, 402.
How can you possibly eat a hot dog without just opening your mouth and shoving it in? Is there actually another way to eat a hot dog? How do you eat a hot dog so the pervs don't come after you?
You could.
You can't.
You could break off pieces and put them in your mouth. You could eat the hot dog.
Yeah, but then you would be like George cutting up his Snickers.
Yes, people would look at you and
yes,
and maybe you'd get on TV that way. Look at this weirdo eating a hot dog. Look how weird she eats it.
That is the only way to eat a hot dog. And that's the only way to eat ice cream. You got to do it really fast. It was 106 degrees. You got to eat the ice cream.
She didn't even have time to take the spoon out of the package that it was given to her.
Maybe she should have got a frozen lemonade. Lemonade. Cotton candy.
Oh, so you're saying she can't have ice cream because it's so hot.
Just say if she was really worried about it the entire time, she could have got a different.
She would have got nachos.
She could have got a different food. She could have got a hamburger.
Yeah. I see you.
Can't eat a hamburger in that way. By the way, I didn't think it was very seductive the way she was eating the ice cream. She was just eating ice cream. But the internet.
So what Connor is saying, to recap.
No, don't recap anything.
She shouldn't have ordered that food.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying.
You're not saying.
I'm saying she was eating ice cream in a very, very normal way.
Okay.
And if the camera wants to show normal people eating normal ice cream, and if they can't do that, then what can they do? What can they show on TV? I'm not blaming the TV. I'm blaming the pervs.
Well, I mean,
I'm saying her anger is misguided.
During the NBA Finals, ESPN and ABC always seem to find the well-endowed women in the crowd.
Oh, that's a thing at the College World Series too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I listened to it on the radio.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, it's a thing at the College World Series as well.
Interesting.
What about that kid? What do you think? Do you think that kid who was winking at the camera a couple years ago during that Coastal Carolina game, going like this?
I'm willing to bet that kid is walking the halls.
I bet he's probably pissed.
I'll bet he's walking the halls of whatever school he currently goes to, and like that's his move with the ladies. Like, hey,
definitely.
I want to see me bat my eyebrows. Hey, baby.
So yeah, he probably talks like Johnny Bravo.
Johnny Bravo, the one-man army.
Yeah, baby. The cone of shame, Josh. Man accuses ESPN of sexualizing ice cream.
Even though I think it was a dish.
It was a dish.
It was a dish of ice cream.
And you have to get the dish when it's that hot. You can't get the cone.
Right.
It's too hard to keep in the cone. I am in the rare camp of I prefer a dish all the time.
Really?
Yes. I love a waffle cone. I just think the work in most cases when you're eating ice cream outweighs what I could do. Just spoon it.
Okay. I follow that.
I'm
logic.
team dish.
Mm-hmm. That's a better poll question. Team dish or team cone?
Okay. Yeah, you could put that one up.
That won't get us fired.
I got so we were talking about Big Ten West rivalries earlier. CBS
Ice cream versus CWS fan. Where does that rank?
It's gonna be bigger and bigger if this keeps going.
Okay.
Watch out. Big Ten football rivalry rankings from CBS Sports. Where USC, UCLA, Oregon, Washington stand as the conference expands in 2024. And I'm not going to go through the entire list, but I have a couple things that I'd like to say about rivalries. First of all, Minnesota is on here. Minnesota has a rivalry with everybody, and it might be easy to make fun of Minnesota. Minnesota, they don't have football history. Right? Why do they get to play for a bucket and an axe? And why do they get all these cool trophies? And so this leads me to my first bold proclamation. I, Josh, am done making fun of all the dumbass trophies in Big Ten rivalry games.
Oh.
I'm done making fun of them.
You're willing to embrace?
Finally, it's time.
Okay.
You know, it's been like 14 years of Nebraska in the conference now. It was really fun to make fun of at first. Look at all these stupid trophies. They don't even know what they're playing for. Is it a bucket? Is it a spittoon? Is it an axe? Is it a pig? Is it something very, very random? Of course it is.
Shillelagh?
Is it funny? Yes, of course it's funny. But I'm not making fun of it anymore because I want to keep all of the traditional old school stuff that we could possibly keep. Connor Happer here for buckets and axes and things of that nature. No more making fun of all of Minnesota's rivalry trophies, of which they have many.
Wow.
That's my first bold proclamation of this segment.
Okay.
Floyd of Rosedale, not funny anymore. Good. Tradition. Paul Bunyan's axe, not funny. It's not funny anymore that Paul Bunyan's axe is a trophy and that Paul Bunyan's trophy is a trophy. Not funny. Don't laugh. Well, not funny.
Sorry.
Old oaken bucket. Not funny.
Classic.
That's not funny. Little brown jug.
Important.
Not funny. Important. The $5 bits of broken chair trophy. Not funny anymore. Very
Charitable.
serious. The old brass spittoon. You know who that game features, Josh? Indiana and Michigan State. That's not funny anymore.
It's necessary.
Exactly. So I just wanted to say that up front.
Okay.
Because I want to respect the tradition and the history of the Big Ten Conference. And now that we have these new rivalry games and the conference becomes something that we can't even recognize anymore, we have to embrace our history. Maybe the Big Ten team won't be in the Rose Bowl every year. We've lost that tradition. We've lost the Big Ten West. We've lost the Big Ten East. And so
a once great division.
These trophies are the only thing that we have left.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd like to pay my respects to them.
Does the Battle of Los Angeles have a trophy?
Do they have a trophy for USC and UCLA? Let's see.
I assume that was the highest ranking new rivalry.
The highest ranking new rivalry was it is. And they play for a thing called the Victory Bell.
Oh, okay.
The Victory Bell.
Nebraska had a bell game once.
The Missouri-Nebraska Bell.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the EA Sports college football game, they always made me think that was a real thing, but nobody ever actually cared about the stupid bell.
I thought it was a traveling trophy. I'm like, oh, look at this. I never knew this.
Oregon, Washington gets on the list. So I want to ask you this. Which current Big Ten school is most likely to develop a rivalry with one of the new Big Ten schools, with one of our new friends?
Great question.
Or does that not exist anymore because nobody really plays each other every year and it's like we live in different worlds, even though they're all in the same conference?
I mean, that's certainly the most likely scenario, but I would like to see, I feel like USC could...
We need to get some...
quickly establish, okay, they need to play somebody because they hate each other.
We need to get some interconference coach stealing going on.
Okay.
You know? Like one of those West Coast schools needs to grab a head coach from the Big Ten proper.
Gosh, what happens if Ryan Day gets fired?
He would go be Oregon's offensive coordinator. That'd be fun. We need something like that, right? Because I don't think Ohio State once again still kind of lives separately. Michigan is an easy one to be a rival with, right? They think a lot of themselves. They're going to jump in. Like, somebody's going to play them this year and be like, I don't think I like this. We got to have something happen.
Yeah.
We got to have something happen in the first year. Do Michigan and Washington play each other this year? That sounds fun.
I believe they do.
I think they do too. I want to say it's in early October as well. It is in early October.
Perfect.
It's in Washington.
October 5th.
October 5th. That could be the now let me offer you this for Nebraska. I think Nebraska is an easy new rival for a USC, UCLA, and Oregon and Washington. Nebraska has various histories with all of them. Now, each of the Big Ten schools really does, but they played each one of those schools at least once in the last 10 years, basically, like 10, 15. Now, they've had home and home series with USC, UCLA, Washington, and Oregon within the last 20. And if you cut out USC, I mean, it's really more recent than that. I think Nebraska, as the other the westernmost non-West Coast Big Ten school, might be, they might add a rival here.
Should we mix it up with one of these new teams?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we start talking smack. Now, the problem is Nebraska only plays two of them this year. Two of them this year. But look what happened when Nebraska joined the conference and everyone said, "Oh, Iowa. I don't think that I could ever hate Iowa the way that I hate other things."
Now it's all you think about every
exactly.
night.
14 years have passed. You played them once every single year, and guess what? It's Iowa. It's all about. So the familiarity breeds contempt. But the problem with this new stupid conference is there's 18 teams in it. We don't play all the same teams every year. This is why I once again will pine for the pods or like some version of divisions. We need to bring the familiarity back. Nebraska only has one protected game every year. They're still going to play Iowa every year, but that's not enough. They need four. We need divisions back. We need 4 games every year, at least, because we need rivals. Rivals need to return. You can't really get a rivalry going if you're playing each other, 2 out of every 3 years, unless you have, this existing history. Texas A&M and Texas will pick right back up where they left off for a variety of different reasons this year in multiple sports. But they have a built-in history out, obviously, with each other and the proximity to each other. They recruit in the same areas and stuff like that. So it's not going to happen. These West Coast schools will still feel like the outcast West Coast schools until we get more of that familiarity, which we're not there on yet. I really hope this is evaluated in a couple of years and they're like, you know what? We need 4 divisions in this stupid conference. We need to add 2 more teams, bring in Florida State and Notre Dame or something like that. Then you get to 20 and you split it off in 4 different directions, and then you're playing the same division teams every single year.
Big Ten semifinal, Big Ten championship.
I loved looking at those Winsipedia pages earlier and seeing that Nebraska's played Minnesota in every single year since they've joined the conference. I thought that was cool. They won't play them this year.
Sad.
I'll miss the Gophers.
Oh,
we did our segment earlier a few weeks ago. The teams that Nebraska won't play this year, and a salute to them. I'll miss playing Minnesota this year. I'll miss playing Northwestern this year. I'll miss going to their little tiny high school stadium on the water.
What's the saying? Familiarity breeds contempt.
That's exactly right, Josh.
Couple comments on YouTube. In regards to coach stealing, Jordan comments in, Chip Kelly did go to Ohio State.
No, I know. Wait.
He was at UCLA. That is coach stealing.
There you go. Okay, that's good. That's good.
Mike says, wouldn't NU and Yogurt Boy against Washington make sense as a rivalry?
They don't play them until next year. They should still be able to play each other in bowl games, even though they're in the same conference. Take another bowl game against Washington.
You might have to at a certain point.
I know. Seriously, there's only going to be, soon enough, there'll only be 2 conferences. You have to play each other in the bowl games. Would Nebraska and Washington make sense as a natural yogurt-based rivalry. I don't think so.
Ask Ice Cream Girl.
Andrew says Nebraska USC would be a good one, and Minnesota Washington. Minnesota Washington. Why would that be a thing?
Many are saying
lakes. Is this about lakes?
Many are saying the
Michigan Washington.
The M's need to hook up with the W's so that you can have like a trophy.
And honestly, okay, fine. We'll take any excuse to make a rivalry. Remember
Your
when
letter kind of looks like my letter.
Remember when Nebraska joined the league and the idea was we were coming up with a whole bunch of stupid ideas every day. And the idea was when Nebraska and Wisconsin played each other, like the loser has to wear white the next year or something like that. Because remember, Nebraska, when they went up there in 2011 and played their first game, they had all their fans wear black so they could stand out. And people were like, why should we have to wear black? We're the real red. We're the real cool big red. And then the idea that came out of that was loser wears white.
High stakes.
It's high stakes. I think the first team Nebraska will wear their all red uniforms against will be Washington in 2 years. Who knows? Alex Lincoln, Big Yogurt will sponsor the Washington-Nebraska rivalry.
Ooh.
Washington, Nebraska, brought to you by Big Yogurt. Dannon.
By Dannon.
All right. Steve Sipple will join us on the other side. I don't know how much rivalry talk we'll have with him. We'll just see what's going on in Sipple's life. That is, of course, if he answers the phone.
Always a big if.
Next on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley.
But here's the other thing that I've also come to a conclusion after eating in a restaurant the other day. You know when you walk in and they go, would you like a booth or a table? I am here to tell you, I don't mean to be mean about this, there is no one that goes to a restaurant where the booth is available that wants a table. There just isn't. And if they want the table over the booth, I'm very curious about who they are, how they're made up.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Friday is a severe weather day with a chance for strong to severe storms in the metro, mainly between 2 and 6 p.m. All modes of severe weather in play with any stronger storms. Otherwise, expect warm, humid, and breezy conditions with highs in the mid to upper 80s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV Newswatch 7.
More with Connor and Josh after this.
We're going to have an extensive professional relationship, my man.
On 1620 The Zone.
Watching a ball game at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill is pretty awesome. Oscar's offers the MLB package, so your team is always on their upgraded audio-video system, and nothing is better than watching the game with a cold frosty one, Oscar's Pizza, or award-winning char-buffed wings. And with daily lunch and dinner specials, it's really a no-brainer. So get ready to watch your favorite team play ball at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill, 173rd and West Center Road, and takeout at 162nd and Maple.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we provide no-cost digital resources in place of textbooks and most courses. And that's not all. You'll receive your accredited online education at an affordable tuition with a choice from more than 135 degree and certificate programs. With online and hybrid courses, get everything you need to succeed again. Learn more at umgc.edu, certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Need meat for your 4th of July party? Stampede Ranch Farms has you covered. 20 ribeyes for $40 is back at West Roads Mall by Von Mauer, Oakview Mall by Golf Galaxy, and Tractor Supply off L Street in Omaha, and Tractor Supply in Council Bluffs at the end of South Expressway. Steak, chicken, pork chops, and seafood. Stock up now on prices on meat you haven't seen since 2019. Bulk family party packs to fill your freezer. West Roads Mall by Von Mauer, Oakview Mall by Golf Galaxy, and Tractor Supply off L Street in Omaha, and Tractor Supply in Council Bluffs at the end of South Expressway. 20 ribeyes for $40. Huge truckload meat sale is going fast. Huge bulk deals on New York strips, fillets, mega ribeyes, gourmet smash burgers, plus chicken and seafood. All payments accepted. Cash, credit, debit, and EBT. Look for the big truck and big tent and signs that say 20 ribeyes for $40. Plus huge bulk deals on steak, chicken, seafood, and pork. Limited time. West Roads Mall by Von Mauer, Oakview Mall by Golf Galaxy, and Tractor Supply off L Street in Omaha, and Tractor Supply in Council Bluffs at the end of South Expressway.
Twisted Thunder Fireworks is going to save you big money. You'll find the best variety and the lowest prices in the entire state of Nebraska. Don't believe us? See page after page of products and pricing online at twistedthunder.com, where you can watch everything before you buy and choose local pickup so it's ready to go for you at the tent. Go to twistedthunder.com to check out all of our locations in Nebraska as well as our location in Council Bluffs. That's twistedthunder.com.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
I plan to rearrange my closet, but I stopped after picking the clothes up off the floor.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's award-winning language learning app will help you start speaking another language. Start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
Comment tu t'appelles? Comment tu t'appelles? Vous êtes où?
Vous êtes où?
Babbel's bite-sized lessons make it easy to learn words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks,
"How's your French going?"
you can say,
Babbel est amusant et facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue. Et cela ne prend que 15 minutes par jour.
When you want to really learn another language, it starts with Babbel. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at babbel.com. Just go to babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
Steve Sipple,
Hut, hey! The conversation gets even more uncomfortable, okay? Omaha!
Steve Sipple on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
It's time for our weekly chat with Stephen M. Sipple of HuskerOnline.com. He joins us now via the 42 Degrees Source Hotline. Hi, Sipple. How are you?
Good. I'm glad we can make this work.
Me too.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's a little sporadic. I'd like to do better as football season nears, and maybe that would be a good kind of football season resolution.
Yeah. Well, you're on a pretty good streak right now. I don't want to jinx anything, but I think we're rolling at least a couple weeks in a row. We had to take one off because of the World Series. I think you're doing fine.
Here's the good news. I don't believe in jinxes. I don't. I think they're the silliest thing ever. So let's do it. Well, I'm talking to myself. Okay. This is about me, my sort of, absent-mindedness. Like, I was going to say like Biden, but we don't need to go there. I said it anyway. Anyway, how's everything going there?
It's good. It's great. The building is getting painted, it appears, so our windows covered up. So
oh boy,
yeah,
that's always fun. I was a part of your world at 1620 quite a bit for a period of my life, and I was always struck by the things that would go on in the building.
Oh yeah, we are constantly struck by the things that are going on in the building. That's a good way to put it.
Yes. Yes, I'll keep it at that.
All right, Simple. You were writing today in your part of Tunnel Talk about big linemen, big old linemen. As you look at Nebraska's defensive front, they have a couple big old linemen. I would imagine that those guys probably, while entertaining the NFL a little bit, if you're Ty Robinson, probably got some calls this offseason to go other places. They stuck with Nebraska. Those are the anchors of their defense, which that alone should set them up quite well. I mean, are we not talking about Ty Robinson and Nash Hutmaker enough?
Well, and maybe not, but I mean, I think we're not talking about Jamari Butler enough is what it comes down to. I mean, Feldman, I don't know, did he say the names Nash, Hutmacher, and Ty Robinson?
I think he just said that they had two guys up front that, they might have one of the best 1-2 tandems up front than, anybody in the country or whatever.
Well, yeah, which is a stretch, by the way. They're good, but I think if you went to Georgia, you might see something that would lead you to believe that maybe they might be a little better. Or Alabama or Clemson or, so they're good. They're good. They're good players for sure. Feldman got loose on that though. And you have to include Jamari Butler in that discussion. I mean, if you just look at him statistically, he was, he led that group in tackles for loss and sacks. Listen, they're good. They're good up front. I love that. I love them up front, but I would never say there's two. I'd always say there's three.
Yeah.
When those guys line up and it's those three guys, it's a good looking line, and they're good. They're just not good looking. They're good. So but to say they're the best in the country is a real stretch.
I would think so too, but still, you feel that's one part of the defense that you feel comfortable with at this point. And so,
yeah, it's not the only one, Happer. I feel comfortable with every level right now.
Really, even the defensive backfield.
Yeah. I mean, the corner spot that we're all talking about, this corner spot that's open. But I like the players. I like the options they have. Oh yeah, I feel good about all three levels of the defense. I really do.
Okay, so when you look at them statistically last year, I mean, they were by most metrics a top 10 or 15-ish defense in the country. And obviously they didn't get as many takeaways as they would have preferred last year. They only had a little over one a game last year, when it ended up on average on the season. That's an area where you could obviously grow. But as far as like the bulk stats and like points per game, yards per game, rushing yards, stuff like that, they're pretty much top 10, top 15 in the country. With that being said, I mean, they talked about having a top 10 defense in the country. Sipple, it doesn't seem all that unrealistic that they could have that with the personnel that they have returning and kind of what they've been about on that side of the ball. Does that seem crazy to you that they could have a top 10 defense in the country?
You got to think down the line. No, it doesn't seem crazy. But it's a little different this year because you have Ohio State. And Ohio State, if they put up a big number, that could push you out of the top 10. I mean, if Ohio State does an Ohio State Saturday where they're, if they score 50 and they put up 550 yards, that'll skew the numbers. USC's capable of a big number too. So it's a little different than last year because they face some real high-powered offenses. Was Michigan a high-powered offense?
High-powered is not the right word for it,
no.
But they were good.
Yeah, they were very good. And it was an exceptional team. But when I think of Michigan, I don't think, oh my God, they're going to put a big number up with their offense. That's not really what they're about. Ohio State can be about that. So it's a little different. I don't know. I'm more of in a kind of a wait and see mode on this defense statistically. And I don't really even care about statistics that much. I know what I saw last year. They're good. That's a good defense. Now they played a schedule that would, it helped that they played a schedule of terrible offenses.
Definitely
by and large. But when people say that, when they play that card, if they didn't play anybody, I say the same thing. Yeah, I saw it though. I saw the games. I watched them, and they're good. That's a good defense. They play well together. They have a lot of good players. I mean, they're pretty much strong at every position. They don't have the superstar though.
Right.
They're just devoid of the superstar. It's sort of I say it every time. All right, I say it so often during the course of a year. That's the next step, I think, or a big next step for Nebraska to return to having, the Sues, the Davis, the Wistroms, those type of guys that you pay to watch. I mean, that literally, there's guys that over the years that I would, if I wasn't a journalist, I would have gladly paid to watch. And you haven't seen a lot of that lately.
Is it getting to the point, or I guess, can it get to the point where it's no longer really about the personnel year by year, and you can just kind of, like with the coaching staff, and you don't know how long Tony White's going to be here. I assume he's not going to be around very long, to be honest with you. So like but you can look at it at the beginning of the year and say, okay, here's what their personnel is. But I don't think they're going to be like, they're always going to have a good defense. That's what Rule said. He said, hey, look, as long as I'm here, we're going to have a good defense. And like, he seemed sure about it. So maybe in this conversation, it's actually less about the personnel and it's more about the confidence in what they do on that side of the ball.
Yeah. I think it's gotta be a mix though.
Sure.
We all know that you can't,
but like Iowa, you look at Iowa every year and they'll have a 2 or 3 all-conference guys that, they just plugged in to that thing. And that's kind of how it's been.
That's true. But look at some of these guys. Jack Campbell if you stuck him on Nebraska, you'd be talking about an All-American. You'd be saying that's an All-American caliber player. We haven't seen that, like a Jack Campbell at Nebraska. Since, I don't know, a big linebacker like that, since Carlos Polk, maybe. Am I missing somebody? I mean, a big, rangy, easily identifiable All-American type inside linebacker.
Levante.
Well, yeah, I guess I'm sort of being oddly specific on body type. Campbell is a monster, at middle linebacker.
Right, bigger guy.
Yeah, bigger guy. So anyway, I'm always going to say it's got to be a mix with coaching and great players, or very good players, and consistency is a big part of it. But I'll tell you what, at Iowa, it's Phil Parker. I mean, Phil Parker is highly regarded in that business. He doesn't get a lot of mention like in the media. Because he's a low profile. He takes a very low profile. But Phil Parker, let's just be very honest about this, is to Iowa what Charlie McBride was to Nebraska. Phil Parker is an excellent, tough-minded. I mean, I know guys that coach with him, and they say he's incredible. And look what they do. Look at every year, they're pretty good. And they really are poised to have a good defense this year. Not surprised. Parker's really good.
Yeah. I wonder if like I just said, I don't know if Tony White's going to be around very long, but I mean, it's been clear to me that Rule is, I mean, he's a defensive minded head coach. Not that he doesn't care about offense, but he said it out loud. He's like, hey, look, we're going to be pretty decent at offense. We're going to find a way to figure it out on offense, but we're going to be really good at defense at Nebraska. Like that's kind of what his MO has been, which as long as you kind of put that out there, I mean, I kind of trust that they are going to be pretty good at defense.
I do. I trust it. I'm interested in it because I mean, one thing to watch this year and sort of just to keep in the back of your mind sense is those guys behind the players we started this conversation with. What's it look like behind Nash and Ty Robinson and Jamari Butler? Well, Jamari Butler could be back next year. I don't know if he will be. If he gets 9 sacks, he won't be back. He'll go to the pros. But yeah, I'm interested in what it looks like behind those guys. I mean, that's, I don't have a depth chart in front of me, but like guys like Cam Lenhart and Sipple Lefotu, I think you pronounce his name. He's coming, but he's a little ways away. There's a whole kind of a long line of guys that you got to watch them this year and see what they look like. I mean, are they going to be like those guys? And if they are, or if you see some resemblance of that, then I can buy into what Rule says more. But I buy what Rule says. I believe the defense should be. That's like you said, that's his MO, and I think they'll be pretty good.
Will just one more on defense? Do you think the turnovers will come naturally this year for that group, or more naturally?
Those are hard. Those things are hard to predict, right? They are. They usually come in bushels. If they can get out of the gate, maybe with a few, that would help. I mean, they have some explosion. A lot of that, when I think of turnovers. I think of explosive players, making explosive plays, and they have some of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that could get better. Hard to predict turnovers.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm with you. I don't know if I'm like leaning on that. You know, I think most people are like, yeah, that's the obvious next step for this defense. And my response is, yeah, we'll see. I think it's good enough for them to be as good as they were last year without the turnover piece of it. Like if you could recreate that and be better on offense, all of a sudden you got a few more wins.
Yeah, pass rush is big in that discussion, right? I will say this about it. They get guys to the ball. They do. That was the thing that struck me most about the defense last year is it's very simple, and it's the kind of thing you really can measure from a press box because how many guys are rallying to the ball. Wow, they did good in that way. And I've watched these defenses over the years when Nebraska struggled, and it was just as glaring when they weren't. You saw it. When they didn't have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys at the ball, you saw it. But when they do, it's beautiful. And that was the thing that left the biggest impression on me last year. I'd like to see more pass rush now because pass rush helps create turnovers. It gets wild. You watch football. It's fun when the pockets collapse and then there's kind of this, I don't know, it's just kind of anarchy in there. And that's what leads to turnovers. You got big paws reaching at the quarterback, and then he gets a lot of colors in his sight line, and then he throws a pick or he drops the ball in the pocket. That's more of a pass rush would probably help a lot.
Hey, Sipple, we haven't touched base on the NBA recently. Are you still Team LeBron?
No, I'm Team MJ.
Team MJ.
Team MJ. Yeah. Okay. LeBron. I soured on LeBron a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, he's good. He's the second best player probably to ever play. But yeah, no. I'm following it. I'm following the draft a little bit.
What do you think about him playing with his son next year?
Well, I think it's a good story. I don't. You can't sell me that Bronny was worth a draft pick.
He was not.
No, I mean, let's just be real. I mean, that's all you're doing is being real on that. He doesn't look like an NBA player to me. But still, I will say this: Dalton Connect does. So they made a great pick in the first round. Did the Lakers? And the draft is interesting. I heard you guys talk about it when you were going through the list of names. I wouldn't have done much better than you. I leaned pretty hard on my grandson Alex, and he knows. And something you said struck a chord with me. You're talking about 15-year-olds were criticizing the show. Yeah, Alex is 18, and that age group really follows the NBA.
Yes,
and Alex, I swear to God, his very favorite team is the Orlando Magic. He could run the Orlando Magic.
And you know what 15-year-olds don't care about? College basketball. Not at all.
They don't care about it at all. Happer, you're 100% right. They care about it to the extent it gets to this time of year, and then they start looking at guys, on YouTube or whatever, however they do it. But no, during the season, he doesn't have he didn't even know who was in the national championship game. And he just refers to it as everything is March Madness too, which I get. The whole season is March Madness.
That's awesome. Hey.
Well, he was good in March Madness. I was like, well, no, they actually didn't play in March Madness, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
Whatever you're gonna do to get ready, I suppose. Simple, gonna talk to you as always. Enjoy your weekend. You got anything on tap this weekend? What are you doing?
No, guys, no, I don't. I really don't. Just thinking about that.
That's awesome.
Pretty relaxing weekend. Yeah. I got to work, but nothing exciting at all.
Okay, well, enjoy it. Talk to you later.
All right, see you later.
Steve Sipple, HuskerOnline.com.
He loved our draft preview.
He loved another person who loved our draft preview. Another person who loved our draft preview. That's great to hear.
Yeah.
Must have made the rounds.
Mm-hmm. Went viral.
I didn't know that Sipple turned Sipple turned on LeBron.
Yeah.
He was all in on LeBron when it was LeBron versus Steph.
Did he?
He said he would tweet out crown emojis on like a nightly basis.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Did LeBron's silence on China have anything to do with it?
I don't know. I don't know what soured him on LeBron. But he was Team Jordan. I didn't know that was an option in this specific case. But
it didn't sound like it was, and then that was his answer. And I said, "Oh, well, okay,
all right." Speaking of LeBron, let's talk about him and his child next. Already seen this a lot today, so let's just get it out of the way. From the text line.
Hi, text line.
Dan, according to multiple reports, LeBron James has been sleeping with his newest teammate's mother.
Could cause a rift in that locker room. They probably didn't think about that when they drafted him. Now,
Watch out. Quick break. Don't forget, George Shea will still join the show in the 1 o'clock hour. We'll talk some hot dogs with him. Get y'all ready to go for the 4th of July. Could be something that you maybe hear again next week at some point. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
Omaha's most listened to all sports radio station. Again and again and again. 1620 The Zone.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call in the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Don't answer that. It's another roof gypsy ringing the doorbell. They are attempting to capitalize on the misfortune that Mother Nature has thrown your way. Make the right call to a trusted company that has faithfully served the Omaha area for over 35 years. The Rivalries at John Higgins Weather Guard.
For roofing, siding, and gutter repair, make the right call to John Higgins Weather Guard.
John Higgins Weather Guard, the home of the Rivalries. Make the right call.
That's the sound of steak searing in its juices on your new pellet grill. You heard that right. The Weber Searwood Pellet Grill can smoke low and slow at 180 degrees all the way to a high heat sear at 600. With the Weber Searwood, you can cook on the direct flame over the full grate sear zone. You'll hear the gasp of amazement from friends and family when you serve the food. Cooking with the Weber Searwood Pellet Grill just sounds delicious and tastes even better.
How do you celebrate the expansion of Lindley Clothing with the addition of Well Suited? Well, you have a BOGO 50% off sale. Right now, Lindley Clothing, buy one, get one 50% off sale on suits and sports coats. Buy one suit or sports coat at regular price and get a suit or sport coat of equal or lesser value at 50% off. Now, the sale is going on now, but it ends with a bang on July 3rd. If you haven't been to Lindley Clothing, get there now and check out Well Suited as well. More sizes, more styles, more selection. In the Linden Market at 132nd and West Dodge, you'll enjoy easy access to Lindley Clothing.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/radio. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at HIMS, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/radio and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. hims.com/radio.
Welcome back for the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. Yesterday, very interesting, very cool news. A great story, as Sipple said. Bronny James got drafted by the Lakers at 55 overall. Who could have seen it coming? Very few. Very few. Well, did you see what they were talking about on NBA Draft Countdown yesterday before the or I guess during the second round of the draft? This is prior to Bronny being selected.
I can't say that I did. No.
It was the guy with the hair, as you called him yesterday. That'd be former Warriors GM Bob Myers.
Oh, yeah, that guy. He's got the hair, yeah.
Bob Myers was on there. Woj was on there, and Stephen A. was sitting around as well. They were about to head to a break, or they were about to change the subject. And then Bob Myers chimed in, and we do have the clip if you'd like to play it, Josh.
Oh, okay.
It's that top link right there. He had some news to pass along about what Rich Paul, LeBron's agent, was telling people about drafting or not drafting LeBron James,
Adele's
LeBron
boyfriend.
James Jr. Because the thing that had gone, the conversation that had gone on before that is, why don't we take Bronny before 55 and hold him hostage?
Many said, why don't the Celtics take him at 54 just to tick off their rival?
So I want to get to another take on that in just a second, but let's go to the top first. Here's Bob Myers yesterday before Bronny gets drafted.
Guy with the hair.
But Bob Myers, you promised at the show that 30 minutes in, you would have an update for us on Bronny James, and we're 56.
Well, I don't get a chance to say anything.
So would you like to say
Stephen
it?
A. talks a lot. There's other stuff going on.
Break some news. Stop whining.
Yeah, it sounds like an update.
Listen, exactly. Okay, fine. I will say
15 seconds.
Right now, Rich Paul's calling teams, don't take Bronny James. He's telling them, do not take him, okay? Saying, don't take him. If you take him, he's going to Australia. So he has a plan and he has a place.
But he's not telling the Lakers.
I don't know if he's telling one team.
Fine. You want me to break some news? Here's some news.
Fine.
Rich Paul's telling people to not take Bronny, otherwise they're going to send him off to Australia and he won't show up for you. This is a disaster. I mean, this was a total disaster.
I'll do it. I'll ship my kid to Australia. I swear to everything.
He'll go to Australia. He will not show up, and you will not be able to use him as an asset this coming year. Now, in order to combat this, I thought Tim Legler had a great story, or Tim Legler had a great idea. So this was on your theory from before that the Celtics should take him at 54. Basically, you're holding Bronny hostage. Here was Tim Legler on what the Celtics or others drafting before LeBron or before the Lakers at 55 should do prior to that spot coming up.
Former Omaha racer, Tim Legler.
Who?
Boston. So, like movies, I like true crime, stuff like that. I'm just saying, 54th pick, we renew the Cold War between the Celtics and the Lakers. The Boston Celtics take Bronny James, and he sent a ransom note to the Lakers. We have your son. We have your son. If you want him back, it's going to take Austin Reeves. It's going to take whatever you want. What do you think, Stephen A? What do you think? That's a Netflix doc. That's a Netflix documentary right there.
That's right. That works. That works. We have your son.
That's
right.
We have your son. If you want him back, it's going to get across you.
I love that.
I love that.
Give me back my son.
We have your son. You literally send a note in the mail. We have your son.
With a finger in the mail.
And you can get him back. It'll be very easy. The price is Austin Reeves.
That's the David Spade character in
Why
Bronny Boy.
did no one do that?
Call their bluff.
Why did no one do that? And Woj was saying last night, he was like, "Oh, nobody really nobody was going to take him. Nobody wanted to do this. They were just going to let the Lakers do it and everything like why is everybody standing up for LeBron today? I love LeBron. LeBron's had a sparkling career. He's never done anything wrong, but he's done a couple things wrong in this scenario. We should be more mad at LeBron than we actually are.
But Connor, nepotism runs rampant through our corporate societies.
Okay, so people that's what people have been saying. I don't really care about the nepotism thing.
It's not the nepotism.
It's not the nepotism thing. Because usually in the nepotism part, the dad or the person in charge is helping advance the younger person's career.
Just speeding it up.
Yeah, they're skipping a step.
Yeah.
And in this case, yes, of course, Bronny is skipping a step, but he's skipping to a place where he will never be.
Yes.
This actually sets Bronny's career back. He could have been a successful college basketball player. He could have been a successful professional basketball player with the right development, turn him into whatever you're going to turn him into. The right track for him from a developmental standpoint was not to skip the rest of college and go straight into the NBA where you're going to drown. I mean, you're not like, I'll be really curious to see what they do from a roster spot, perspective with him, because like, is he getting it? Like, is he going to be on the team? It's amazing.
Yes, he is.
He's going to be on the team. And so what they do with him will obviously be horrible for his career. Like, it doesn't do you any good to be sitting on the bench in the NBA for a long time. And he's not going to develop because he's not going to play.
But on the road, Connor, on the road trips, father and son, he can sit at his father's learning tree.
In this specific situation, I don't know if you've heard this before, but in this specific situation, it might actually be best for Bronny to leave the nest, to maybe carve his own path.
You think playing for the Memphis Grizzlies would do that?
Nope. I think playing for USC for 3 more years, or literally any other college team for 3 more years, would probably help him out quite a bit.
I've said this
not holding him ransom.
I've said this a few times this week, and I'm not a doctor, but the child's heart did stop.
Yes.
Last offseason.
That is correct.
Like maybe
he's going to be okay. Is that what you're saying at basketball? Like,
no, I'm just saying maybe you stay at USC. Just like, Dad, I don't know. I think the ticker needs 1 more year to really see like a stress test on it. Like, now I'm sure they checked into it and all.
I mean, he played last year at USC.
Yes, and those numbers speak for themselves.
I just I don't know if we're giving LeBron a hard enough time for this one, because this is like it's not only the nepotism part, but like, and personally, I don't really care. Whatever, we do have nepotism everywhere, but I don't know what I know about this, but it's bad parenting. Isn't it just bad parenting?
I don't know if it's bad parenting, but I will say this. This is the difference between Michael Jordan and LeBron James, right?
Yes, because this situation literally happened with Michael Jordan, and he laughed.
And he said, Marcus, you suck.
Yes.
Go away.
He goes, no, that's not going to happen. Not even in your wildest dreams. Nice try, kid.
I will not get you a job.
You will never be like me. And LeBron's like,
here, son, I love you.
Yeah, you can play for the same team as me if you want to. LeBron's been quiet here. I wonder if he'll have anything to say in the coming days and weeks. There's our LeBron. There's our Bronny analysis.
What do you think of Bronny James being the most bet on player to win Rookie of the Year at plus 30,000?
Oh, is this another or sandwich situation?
Yes, I think it is, Connor.
Okay.
Would you rather have a Bronny James Rookie of the Year ticket or a sandwich?
All right, so let me just make sure we can get the odds on this one. NBA. Oh, there's a whole Bronny James category.
There was yesterday.
Yeah, on the FanDuel Sportsbook. Got to cash in when you can, I suppose. Okay, let me go back to awards real quick. Rookie of the Year, Alex Sarr is plus 500. Dalton Connect is plus 1,000. Where's Baylor Shireman, by the way? Baylor Shireman plus 20,000.
Hello.
Baylor Shireman plus 20,000. Bronny James plus 30,000.
Yeah.
So that is, let's put in the price of a sandwich. Let's just say $10. Would you rather have the Bronny James Rookie of the Year ticket, which would cost you $10? You could win $3,000. Or you could pay me $10 and I would give you a sandwich.
That is up at Happer Show. Would you rather have a Bronny James Rookie of the Year ticket, parenthetically, $10 at plus 30,000 equals $10,000, or a sandwich?
A sandwich. It equals $3,000, by the way.
And then, good, because I also wrote yes or no again.
Just go ahead and start over again.
Yeah, we'll just switch that. Never happened.
I feel bad sometimes because you're talking and you're typing at the same time. There's a lot of stuff going on.
$3,000.
$3,000. $10 to win $3,000. If you wanted to do a $100 sandwich, you would win $30,000.
$100 sandwich, Connor.
Yeah, you go to Vegas, you never know. By the way, also in the FanDuel Sportsbook,
that poll question is now officially up again,
and it is correct.
Pretty sure.
Read it back to me.
Would you rather have a Bronny James Rookie of the Year ticket, parenthetically, $10 at plus 30,000 equals $3,000?
Good.
Or a sandwich? The options are ROY ticket sandwich.
Okay, not yes or no. Good. Elsewhere in the FanDuel Sportsbook, Bronny James to record 4+ made threes in any regular season game this year.
4+.
4 or more threes.
Okay.
Plus 400. Bronny James to score 20+ points in a regular season game. Plus 900. Bronny James to record 5+ made threes in a regular season game. Plus 950.
I just need more data on Bronny James.
What is JJ going to do here? Bronny to score 30+ points in any regular season game. Plus 5,000. And finally, Bronny James to record a triple-double in any regular season game, plus 15,000.
I actually think you stumbled upon a great question there. What is JJ Redick going to do?
What
because
is,
remember, he's a former coworker. Like they had a podcast together. Like he likes LeBron. Yeah. He's just going to bend the knee, right?
Is LeBron going to demand that he plays? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how far this goes.
Because there's going to be the...
Or does he just want to be able to say, I played with my son. I was the first person to do that in NBA history.
Yes.
And now I'm good. Like, is that it? Or does he want more? Like, does he want him to actually play? Because if that's the case, then we got a problem.
That kid is playing 12 minutes on Christmas or more.
Really?
Yeah.
Put it on the list?
Put it on the list.
All right. Bronny James is playing 12 minutes at least on Christmas, says Josh Hodson on Friday, June 28th. Make sure you write that down. Please.
I will. We'll do it during the break.
Okay. That's important to me that we get that written down. All right. Let's oh yeah, we got a text here from Jeff. Used to be a big LeBron defender. His Laker years have made me question that. You, Jeff, handshake meme with Sipple.
Is it China?
Kind of soured on LeBron. His Laker years have not been pretty. They won a championship.
People forget.
People forget about that Mickey Mouse ring.
Like it hasn't like
and a in-season tournament.
That's right. It hasn't soured me on him, but I have rolled my eyes at him more than any other period of his career.
He definitely
okay.
Like
LeBron.
You are in the phase of your career where you're supposed to be ring chasing.
Yeah.
Right? Like he is in the phase of his career where if he would accept it, he could be a great second or third option on a championship team. And like, it's a lock. He could theoretically take less salary and like go to a place where there's already something built. And he has done the exact opposite. He's like, it's me and AD. I want to play with my friends. I want to play with my son. I want to play for the Lakers. I want to be in LA. Like, he has all these other things that he seems to be prioritizing instead of winning.
I think you're right with that, but I also think that, boy, Anthony Davis sure does suck, and we don't talk about that enough.
No, we do not. Thank you, Josh.
Normally, you would walk into the front office and be like, get that tall unibrow guy the hell out of here. Trade him for 2 players who can actually play basketball, but nobody would take him. Nobody would take Anthony Davis. I don't know if nobody would take Anthony Davis, but you're not going to.
You could get something for Anthony Davis.
You're not going to get like 2 pieces that are like, okay, there, problem solved.
I don't know. So he's made some interesting choices, and this is the latest in a very interesting choice. But I didn't draft him. I'm not the GM. I have nothing to do with this.
I'm not even under contract next year.
Yeah, that'd be funny if he just left.
All right.
Have fun.
I'm going to Miami.
Now that would be a MJ move.
That would.
That would be Michael Jordan drafts Michael Jordan, and then they show up. He shows up. He's like, I'm going to get peace. I'm going to go win a championship in Milwaukee.
Bleep you be.
All right. George Shea still to come at the bottom of the hour. We'll be back with more next on 1620 The Zone.
I'm a fabulous driver.
The Connor Happer Show
I'm one of the best friends you could ever have in your life.
on 1620 The Zone.
I hate you.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Host is roasting every morning. Host is roasting every day.
Post Coffee is on a mission to invigorate every workplace with a blend of bold flavors and unforgettable service, creating moments with our coffee, water, and food services that spark joy, productivity, and connection. Call Host Coffee today.
Proudly serving Nebraska since 1972. Host Coffee is always roasting something good for you.
You know that dollar bill you've got stuffed in your wallet, purse, or pocket? Give it a little respect, because it could win you millions. Lotto America from the Nebraska Lottery is here, and it only costs $1 to play. It has a $2 million starting jackpot with drawings every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. What's more, you can add the All-Star bonus for an additional $1 to multiply any prize won. So unwrinkle that dollar bill in your glove box and play today. Lotto America top prize odds 1 in 26 million.
Certified Transmission built its reputation on the job done right. It means hard work, honesty, and integrity.
And together, we ensure our customers leave satisfied and worry-free.
Certified Transmission, the job done right at the right price.
Shop Sid Dillon Chevrolet, Nebraska's #1 volume Chevy dealer group. Visit us in Blair, Crete, Fremont, or Wahoo, or shop at SidDillonChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
You are what drives us, Sid Dillon.
Need meat for your 4th of July party? Stampede Ranch Farms has you covered. 20 ribeyes for $40 is back at Westroads Mall by Von Mauer, Oakview Mall by Gulf Galaxy, and Tractor Supply off L Street in Omaha, and Tractor Supply in Council Bluffs at the end of South Expressway. Steak, chicken, pork chops, and seafood. Stock up now on prices on meat you haven't seen since 2019. Bulk family party packs to fill your freezer. Westroads Mall by Von Mauer, Oakview Mall by Gulf Galaxy, and Tractor Supply off L Street in Omaha, and Tractor Supply in Council Bluffs at the end of South Expressway. 20 ribeyes for $40. Huge truckload meat sale is going fast. Huge bulk deals on New York strips, fillets, mega ribeyes, gourmet smash burgers, plus chicken and seafood. All payments accepted. Cash, credit, debit, and EBT. Look for the big truck and big tent and signs that say 20 ribeyes for $40. Plus huge bulk deals on steak, chicken, seafood, and pork. Limited time. Westroads Mall by Von Mauer, Oakview Mall by Gulf Galaxy, and Tractor Supply off L Street in Omaha, and Tractor Supply in Council Bluffs at the end of South Expressway.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the clown.
All right, welcome back. More of the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Just quickly here, I don't know much about Texas Tech football recruiting, but I do know two things. That they now have 2 Nebraska offensive linemen in their recruiting class for 2025. Nebraska high school offensive linemen in their recruiting class.
That sounds like too many, if you ask me.
Tiny baby boy's dad
Yeah.
is, I don't know where he's getting his intel. I wonder.
Is TBB a mole? Whole question.
But they now have added a second Nebraska offensive lineman to their class by the name of Ren Brown from Stanton. They also previously have gotten a commitment earlier this week from Garen Maley from Papillion La Vista. So a couple linemen going to Texas Tech to play for Tiny Baby Boy's dad. Interesting. I thought we were building a wall and making them pay.
Yeah, this doesn't seem like a wall.
What happened? A kid from what class is Stanton in? Josh, do you know?
No.
Stanton High School, Nebraska class. That's got to be the D1. How many men do they play with in football? I have no idea.
Great question.
I think they were in a state championship game this year. I remember Stanton being a thing. They were? You remember that too?
I do remember that.
Okay, good. All right. Anyway, first of all, a couple things before I got one more Husker football topic for you guys. We'll speed through a few things here. Number one, congratulations to Trey Alexander signing with the best team in the NBA, the Denver Nuggets.
Oh, how many NBA championships did they win last season?
One.
Last season?
Last season before that.
Oh, so not the reigning, defending best team in the league. Okay.
No, but they have Baylor Shireman. So they figured that they had enough Creighton blood. And so the future champions next year said, we'll go out and get Trey Alexander.
Okay.
Trey went undrafted, and he immediately got picked up by the Nuggets. Rob tweeted this out last night, but I certainly noticed it too from being at all the Creighton games this year. There was definitely a lot of Denver Nuggets scouts because I sat right next to all of them.
Oh, okay.
Yes, at the games this year. I remember, I think I told this story on air after it was one of the first games of the year, and I was sitting next to one of the scouts, and I think it was the Nuggets one. And I was like, Trey did his little, in the lane, turn around, fade away thing. I turn to Scott, I go, he makes that like 85% of the time. I was ignored completely.
I remember that story.
Maybe he heard me. He just didn't want to acknowledge.
He wanted to play it cool.
He wanted to play it cool. He's like, that's a good piece of information.
5 minutes later, he ran to the bathroom and he's on his cell phone. Guys, he makes that 85% of the time.
He called up his boss and he was like, this guy just told me he makes that 85% of the time. We're going to have to check the tape on it. We're going to have to check the stats, hop on Synergy. But if that is the greatest stat I've ever heard.
Look, Scout,
I think that's how it went.
Look, Scout, I don't have time for your stats about undrafted prospects. I got to find Nikola Jokic a horse.
Jeff writes in.
Hi, Jeff.
Trey went undrafted. Listening to The Zone, you would think he's a lottery pick. Oh, we didn't say that Trey was a lottery pick. Who said that?
How many Huskers got drafted?
Oh, do you think this is a Husker thing?
Usually is.
Yeah, it probably is. A 0 actually this year.
Interesting.
0.
I was told Casey was the best player in the history of the sport.
Yeah, he miraculously somehow went undrafted, but I believe he kind of pulled himself out.
Yeah,
he was like, I'm just going to focus on the Olympics. Don't draft me. He kind of gave up his dream of playing in the NBA
to win Olympic gold, which is more noble.
Maybe he could find it in a different, like in a roundabout way.
Interesting. The Japanese player decided, I will play for country instead of the Americans who lose to the Japanese in football.
Oh, geez. Josh is mad at 20-year-olds now in football.
Yeah.
Yippee.
Hi, Yippee.
Trey made a big mistake, huge, by not coming back. That's what Yippie's saying on the YouTube. I don't know, man. Like, we said this at the end of the year. Sometimes you're just done. Like, sometimes you've just done what you needed to do at the college level. Like, I mean, so to Yippie's point, so the scenario for him is that he comes back to Creighton for another year or goes somewhere else for another year, whatever it might be, and improves on what he needs to improve on. And he goes back into the draft and he gets drafted next year. I mean, there's a whole, like, you're introducing 700 more variables when you do that. What happens if he comes back and he gets hurt? What happens if he comes back and the draft is better next year? You know, what happens if he comes back and he's just not as good? You know, like, so
yeah,
like
in this draft class, it was time. It was time to jump.
It doesn't have to be like binary. It doesn't have to be like black and white, but like, so because we made the same case with Baylor. Like Baylor came back and got his body right and worked on himself and had a great season and improved on what he needed to improve on. Could Trey theoretically have done the same thing? Of course he could have. But like, it doesn't work that way for everybody. And like I said, sometimes when you're done, you're done. Like sometimes when you made it, I think Trey probably wanted to go last year and ended up coming back to Creighton. And then really this time, you know, straight up made up his mind. So he was ready for that opportunity and took it. But we'll never know if it was a mistake or not. You know, it just, you know, we'll see what happens in his career. Like what I'm saying is not everybody gets to have happen what happened to Baylor Shireman. Doesn't work that way all the time.
No,
it's you know, Baylor, you know, did everything he could to make it work for him. So Trey is going to sign with the Denver Nuggets, and he is going to be excited to be in the same space as Jamal Murray. I imagine we'll see him in the summer league and stuff like that. So that's cool. Elsewhere, Ndamukong Suh, Jordan Hooper, others going to the Nebraska Athletics Hall of Fame this year. Ndamukong Suh, Josh. What do you remember about Suh? Remember that guy?
Unstoppable.
He was pretty good, wasn't he?
Unless the refs put a second back on the clock. Then he is, in fact, stoppable.
Yeah. Well, some are saying that he's the reason Nebraska lost that game because he sacked Colt McCoy too early.
Too early. Too good.
Yes. If he would have just kind of corralled him for a couple seconds and just kept him in front and then sacked him, then the clock would have ran out. And Nebraska would have been 2009 Big 12 champions, and everything is different.
Yeah.
Everything is different. But it didn't work out that way. Maybe it would have changed Red Out around the world. It would have, if that memory could have been erased for my life, that would have been great, actually. But it was not to be. He still gets a Hall of Fame spot, though. So congratulations to him. Yes. Pedro writes it.
Hi, Pedro.
Hi, guys. Can you give us what you think will be the starting lineup for Creighton this year? Oh, my. All right. Okay. Hang on.
What a question.
Okay. Hold on. I gotta pull up a roster real quick. Pedro, you're putting me on the spot. Let me see if they've updated their roster on the no, they haven't. Sad. All right. So let me count the players that we know exist. Kalkbrenner, he's gonna be a starter. I feel good about that.
Confident.
Yes, I feel very good about that.
4 to go.
All right. Stephen Ashworth. I feel very good about that.
Makes sense.
He's gonna be a starter next year.
If his wife lets him.
And his baby.
That's right.
How about the guy Pop?
Greg Popovich?
Yes, Greg Popovich. He's going to be a starter. Pop Isaacs.
Seems a little old.
Yes, he will be in there. Hey, it's the year of the old people. Greg Popovich is going to be in the starting lineup. How about the guy from Arizona State? The Jemiah with the, he's got a wingspan. Didn't really shoot the ball well at Arizona State last year. He's probably in the mix to be a starter. Mason Miller probably in the mix to be a starter.
Eventually.
Isaac Trout could be in that mix somewhere. Jason Green could be in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
I know Pedro didn't ask for an in the mix starting lineup.
Well, you're probably going to rotate that spot early amongst several players.
Does anybody, like our friends from Husker Hoop Central, do the scholarship distribution for Nebraska basketball? Does anybody keep a scholarship matrix for Creighton basketball that's on the internet somewhere?
Couldn't possibly.
Somebody please
right?
point me in that direction. I'm sure Matt DeMarinis has it. If he's listening right now, he probably would have texted me already. So shame on Matt for not listening. Or maybe he is, and he just doesn't want to help me and wants to watch me drown in this question.
That seems like a likely scenario.
All right. So there's a half-hearted attempt at creating the starting lineup. I'm sure I forgot at least 3 people. So I apologize to those people. All right, let's take a quick break. We will come back. It's time to talk hot dogs.
Finally.
George Shea. He is the commissioner of Major League Eating, and he has some questions to answer. What will this year be like without Joey Chestnut at the hot dog eating contest? A 2-time guest on the show. George Shea makes an appearance next on 1620 The Zone.
Previously on The Crossover.
It's a very baseball-y name. It's like naming your kid Mickey.
Yeah,
Freddie.
if your name Mickey Mantle, like you're destined to be a great baseball player.
What was his full name? Michelob?
Michelob Mantle.
What was Mickey Mantle's real name?
His name was Mickey Charles Mantle.
I think it was
Michelob.
Michelob Mantle.
Michelob Mantle.
Wow. Mornings with Sharp and Hanley. The Connor Happer Show. Unsportsmanlike conduct. 6A to 6P. 1620. The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides. From the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Friday is a severe weather day with a chance for strong to severe storms in the metro, mainly between 2 and 6 p.m. All modes of severe weather in play with any stronger storms. Otherwise, expect warm, humid, and breezy conditions with highs in the mid to upper 80s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV Newswatch 7.
She posted about us just now.
Celebrities can't get enough of Bianna's bespoke skincare line.
She has 147 million followers. How do we monetize?
She needs a social media associate to help her with the hype.
We should repost this. Do we need a hashtag?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, you hear that? That's the sound of loose change in your pocket reminding you to buy a 99-cent medium fountain drink from Casey's. So the next time you hear this, you already know where to go. 99-cent medium fountain drinks. It's not crazy. It's Casey's.
Nebraska, where hardworking hands build incredible things. Like the strong hands of a farmer who gets up early to harvest opportunity, or the delicate fingers of a pastry chef who bakes everything from the heart. When the hands behind your business are hard at work, we offer our hands for support. Because we're not just a bank in Nebraska, we're Nebraska in a bank. Pinnacle Bank, the way banking should be. Member FDIC.
Ramona's Mexican Restaurant, previously located at 30th and Reddick and now at 30th and Willett in historic Florence, is still the way you remember it. Nachos, deep fried burritos, and those amazing cinnamon chips. Have a margarita or a cocktail. Open until 2 a.m. on Friday and Saturdays too. And try Ramona's out of this world 2.5-pound massive burger with cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, and pickles. Ramona's Mexican Restaurant. Stop in today. Follow them on Facebook for specials and news about their monthly musical bingo.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Need meat for your 4th of July party? Stampede Ranch Farms has you covered. 20 ribeyes for $40 is back at West Roads Mall by Von Mauer, Oakview Mall by Golf Galaxy, and Tractor Supply off L Street in Omaha, and Tractor Supply in Council Bluffs at the end of South Expressway. Steak, chicken, pork chops, and seafood. Stock up now on prices on meat you haven't seen since 2019. Bulk family party packs to fill your freezer. West Roads Mall by Von Mauer, Oakview Mall by Golf Galaxy, and Tractor Supply off L Street in Omaha, and Tractor Supply in Council Bluffs at the end of South South Expressway. 20 ribeyes for $40. Huge truckload meat sale is going fast. Huge bulk deals on New York strips, fillets, mega ribeyes, gourmet smash burgers, plus chicken and seafood. All payments accepted. Cash, credit, debit, and EBT. Look for the big truck and big tent and signs that say 20 ribeyes for $40. Plus huge bulk deals on steak, chicken, seafood, and pork. Limited time. Westroads Mall by Von Mauer, Oakview Mall by Gulf Galaxy, and Tractor Supply off L Street in Omaha, and Tractor Supply in Council Bluffs at the end of South Expressway.
Ramona's Mexican Restaurant, previously located at 30th and Reddick and now at 30th and Willett in historic Florence, is still the way you remember it. Nachos, deep fried burritos, and those amazing cinnamon chips. Have a margarita or a cocktail. Open until 2 a.m. on Friday and Saturdays too. And try Ramona's out of this world 2.5-pound massive burger with cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, and pickles. Ramona's Mexican Restaurant. Stop in today. Follow them on Facebook for specials and news about their monthly musical bingo.
All right. Big times to the world of Major League Eating. We all focus our eyes and attention on one event every year. That is the 4th of July hot dog eating contest at lovely Coney Island. I haven't checked the weather for Coney Island next Thursday yet, but I'm sure it'll be 130 degrees and sweltering hot while people eat hot dogs. We're joined by Major League Eating's commissioner. He joined us on the show last year, and the guy who gives the best introductions of all time, George Shea, right now on the 42 Degrees Source Hotline. George, thanks for doing this again. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me.
How excited are you? We're going to get to obviously the newsy part of the hot dog eating contest here in just a second. But have you started to cook up the introductions for next week yet?
Yes, in fact, I'm trying to refine that, and I always try to do some that are funny, and I have to determine whether what I think is funny to other people. So I'm doing that right now, testing some stuff. But I'm all ready for the 4th. I got to memorize everything, but I'm all ready. We're very excited because, last year we had disruption with a massive biblical level rainstorm, and so the crowd. I've been getting lots of emails and texts and stuff. The crowd is very, very excited to go back out there, hoping for good weather. And we have what is going to be a fantastic contest. Obviously we'll talk about the news. Joey's not going to be there, but the consequence of that is a really powerful contest that will be hotly contested. And so people are excited about that.
Okay, let's start with Joey then. So give us your story here, your part of the story on how this came about, because it just all of a sudden got dropped on us one day. We're like, whoa, what's the hot dog eating contest going to be like without Joey Chestnut? Why is Joey not going to be in the hot dog eating contest this year?
Well, what happened was our contract with him sunsetted, and they delayed negotiation or pushed negotiation forward. And when they came to us to figure things out, they had two contracts signed with what most people would think of as a conflict. One was with what turns out to be Netflix rather, doing a Labor Day contest, hot dog contest, which is obviously, extreme praise if imitation is flattery. But this is a big one. And then the other one was endorsing a rival hot dog as part of the Impossible suite of plant-based meats, and which was a clear and epic conflict with the exclusivity on hot dogs, which Nathan's has always had in place for 20 years, that Joey's been around in 1920, whatever it is. And so that was a clear, we didn't even know what to do. It was a complete shock. And then we came to an impasse, asked whether he could carve that hot dogs out of the Impossible stuff. The answer was no. So we were at an impasse, and then it went into the media and obviously became a very big story. We continued to negotiate and talk with the team and try to resolve it, and we conceded on everything. We conceded on the exclusivity thing. We said, you know what, fans want you, we want you, we concede, you can come anyway, and we still couldn't come to an agreement. So, I can't say, Joey's got his side of all of this. Joey is a terrific guy, and a great champion and an American hero. face of 4th of July, and he's chosen to go eat with the troops at Fort Bliss in Texas on the 4th of July. And, if he's not with us, obviously I would, I would always want him with us, but if he's not with us, that's what a great thing to do, celebrate the armed forces like that. So we support that 100%.
So what will this event be like without him? You touched on it a little bit. It's going to be probably a little bit more hotly contested, but he is now, he's one, I think I was just counting up before he came on, with 16 out of 17 times and 8 in a row.
Yeah.
And he's kind of lorded over this entire thing. So what's it like without him as in the first go around here?
Well, look, he can eat in the mid 70s, right? So he's so far ahead of everybody. He's 20 ahead of everybody effectively. He's just a dominant figure, and he is associated with this event, and he's associated with dominating the event. So losing him and not having him there is a loss, right? Like a lot of people, it's almost like a rite of passage on the 4th of July where they just watch him do his thing. And we recognize that, and we wish he was there, and he's always welcome. But since he has chosen not to be there, that puts us in a position of having a really competitive event. And, I've heard a lot from folks saying, look, I'd love Joey there, but since he's not going to be there, this is actually way more exciting. And what we have in front of us is Jeffrey Esper, number 2 ranked eater, 51-ish hot dogs and buns in 10 minutes. Patrick Bertoletti, whose personal best is 55. That was several years ago. Nick Werry, whose personal best is 48. And then James Webb, who is ranked number 9, but he's I'm sorry, strike that. He's ranked number 5. He's absolutely a fast rising rookie. He's amazing. And I expect him to be in the 50 to 55 range. So really what you have is a really tight range, a tight race between at least 4 people, and maybe more, because King Yamamoto from Japan, I think could really be right there. We have 6 international eaters coming, and King Yamamoto might well be sort of a dark horse.
So and that's the other thing here. Like this event has grown exponentially over the last 20 years, or 20 plus years now. I would imagine that everybody, regardless of whether Joey's there or not, or Kobayashi's there or not, people are like, yeah, I got to be in this one, and they view it as an opportunity to say, all right, I could do this now on the biggest stage that I'm going to get.
Yeah, I think I have to tell you, none of the eaters obviously expected to hear the news with Joey. And, I think many of them were like, okay, wow, this opens up a path to hold the mustard belt and be the champion. And I think they're very excited about that. And I suspect that while they were all preparing, they were doing so knowing that they were competing against a group of people for second or third or whatever. Now they're competing for first. So I suspect the intensity has increased.
What is the theme of is there a overarching theme of the intros this year as we've kind of mapped it out and you're starting to get into the memorization portion of what you're going to do in your prep?
That's exactly right. And, look, I try to always make a mix, right? They can't be all heroic, and they can't be all funny, and they can't be all straight, right? You have to sort of mix it all up. And, the capper of the intros has always been, or has been for the past 15 years, I guess, bringing out Joey to what is just an, absolutely over the top epic introduction. I didn't think I had written Joey's introduction, but I don't think it's fair to just pop that onto, the number 2 ranked eater and sort of okay, well, he gets that big intro, because I think to earn that, you kind of have to win the contest. So, there won't be that sort of just absolute over the top, because I just don't think it works. It's not out of respect for Joey, although certainly, it's linked to that. It's really, I don't think it works to have someone who's never won get that Joey intro. But I have a lot that I think are funny, and I don't want to do too many funny ones. So I have to sit down with my trusted advisor, Sam Barclay, who's a really funny and brilliant guy, and he kind of goes yay or nay.
And then it kind of just goes from that. Like he gets the ultimate say, and then like you have an idea of which way you're going to take it. He gets yes or no, and then it's out there. Boom on Thursday.
Yeah, I'm going to talk with him again today or tomorrow. He share everything with him, and then what he says is that's not going to work, or this is going to work better than that. And sometimes he's very funny, and he'll say, well, extend this, or you know what I'm saying. But really, what I'm looking for is that final voice, because sometimes if you're working on your own, sometimes things strike you as incredibly compelling or funny, and they do not strike the rest of the world that way. So he's really a great sounding board, and he's just a brilliant, funny host on his own. So yeah, once that gets done, then it's hardcore memorization this weekend, and then I have to think. We have a 2.5 hour stage show, and we have an opera singer, and I'm going to sing True Colors by Cyndi Lauper with a backup band. The backup band is because I cannot sing at all. And millions of things like that all have to get memorized and the final organizational element.
Incredible. Hey, are you a Mets or a Yankees guy?
I would be a Mets guy. I would not say I'm a huge sports fan. My favorite sport is competitive eating, but I have, if it came down to the two, it would be the Mets.
So have you been following the Grimace storyline with the Mets?
It's so funny. I saw that story today, and I was on the subway, and I opted to read debate coverage, but I had seen the Grimace, the Grimace in the. I'm not. What's the status of that?
Well, the Mets are hot right now, and they have accredited all of their winning over the last 2 or so weeks to Grimace, the famous McDonald's mascot purple blob. I don't know why, really, but that's what they have credited with.
That's bizarre, but you know what? When luck and jinxes and superstition, you never know where it comes from. It can take hold.
That's baseball. We're excited to see you on the 4th of July, as we always are. Enjoy. Should be a fun competition this year, and we cannot wait until your introductions. It's a sure sign that the 4th of July is here. We appreciate it as always, George.
Thank you so much, and happy 4th of July to you and all your listeners.
A symbol of America, the 4th of July. That is George Shea, the commissioner of Major League Eating.
And crushed it again.
Yep. Without Joey, obviously with Joey, you know what's going to happen. Without Joey, you get to mix it up a little bit. Do we still care about the love of the game? Do we still care about hot dogs, or do we just care about our stars?
I think he made a great point where, yeah, we're not going to break a world record this year probably, but you know what? There's 4 guys who could win this now. And that's more interesting.
Maybe we learned something that we didn't know before.
Mm-hmm. George Shea in Major League Eating will tell you what you want.
Corey comments in on YouTube. American hero? ? Oh yeah. You got to understand, this guy takes things very seriously.
He's a commish.
Yeah. He's like, he just said it. I don't really care about baseball. My favorite sport is eating. So when you see the guy with the hat on the 4th of July and he's sitting up there, he's on ESPN, say you heard it first on the Connor Happer Show. All right, back after this with the polls. Tell you what to watch on 1620 The Zone.
The Connor Happer Show. Follow us on Twitter @Happer Show for all the latest news and views. We may even say something interesting once in a while.
Unlikely.
Really, guys? Remember, no matter how you listen, it's still AM radio. 1620 The Zone.
When it comes to protecting your home, Jay Stennett Contracting takes pride in ensuring every detail is handled. Roofing, siding, gutters. When it comes to the exterior of your home, Jay Stennett Contracting has you covered. Water, wind, and hail can wreak havoc on the exterior of your home. If your home is damaged, let Jay Stennett Contracting come out for a no-obligation inspection. If repairs are needed, they will help you through every step of the process. When you need an honest assessment, Jay Stennett Contracting has you covered. JSCrestoration.com.
How do you celebrate the expansion of Lindley Clothing with the addition of Well Suited? Well, you have a BOGO 50% off sale. Right now, Lindley Clothing, buy one, get one 50% off sale on suits and sports coats. Buy one suit or sports coat at regular price and get a suit or sport coat of equal or lesser value at 50% off. Now, the sale is going on now, but it ends with a bang on July 3rd. If you haven't been to Lindley Clothing, get there now and check out Well Suited as well. More sizes, more styles, more selection. In the Linden Market at 132nd and West Dodge, you'll enjoy easy access to Lindley Clothing.
Sundays with the Storm Chasers are packed with fun for the entire family. Every Sunday features free entertainment for kids 12 and under. Brought to you by Nebraska Medicine. Want to get a free Sunday perm ticket? Bring 3 cans of non-perishable food items to the Werner Park box office. Wrap up the day with Kids Run the Bases, presented by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Nebraska. Visit OmahaStormChasers.com.
Omaha Storm Chasers family. Everyone get on your feet, stir up the storm, we're family.
Poll questions at Happer Show. Thanks to George Shea. It's not often you get a commissioner on the show.
Yeah, you got to take it. You got to take it seriously. Yeah, and we do.
Poll questions on the J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Do you miss Champions Week? Yeah, I don't. I kind of like that idea actually.
There's something there with that idea.
53% say no, they do not miss it. Did you take a gerontology class in college?
No.
We get a call from someone who said, I took a gerontology class and there was a bunch of hot chicks in it.
That's right. Kids, if you're listening and that's something you're into.
Hot chicks?
Yeah.
83% said no, they did not take that class.
Sure.
When eating ice cream, team dish or team cone? I'm team dish, just cleaner. Works better for me.
I love it. You're right, but I love a cone too much.
64% say dish.
Oh.
Kind of surprising. And finally, would you rather have a Bronny James Rookie of the Year ticket for the potential to win $3,000 or a sandwich?
You know we're picking sandwich.
93% say sandwich. Those are the polls, Josh. What are we watching?
We are watching this weekend some Major League Baseball. We've got Marlins Phillies 5:30 tonight on ESPN Plus. Who will play for the Phillies? No one knows. As
Schwarber, Harper, dead.
Yeah, that's right. For the next 10 days, they are dead. Now's your chance, NL East. Astros Mets 6 o'clock tonight on Apple TV. Padres Red Sox same time, same channel. That makes sense. Cubs Brewers 3 o'clock tomorrow on FS1. Dodgers Giants 6 o'clock tomorrow on Big Fox. Pirates and the Braves, 10:35 Sunday morning on Roku. I have no idea how to watch that without a Roku, but I'll have to find out.
I don't think you will.
Okay, I probably won't. I'll forget because it's at 10:35 in the morning. Also, it's Skeens and Freed Saturday between the Pirates and the Braves. Not on national TV, but, you know.
Kind of a ring to it.
Yeah. Rangers, Orioles, Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN4. Nationally televised games this weekend for the WNBA. It is headlined by the Indiana Fever and the Phoenix Mercury, 2 o'clock Sunday on ESPN. How many times will Diana Taurasi elbow Caitlin Clark to the floor?
We didn't get to the Caitlin Clark thing today, but Diana Taurasi is not in on this Caitlin Clark gal.
I told y'all during the Final Four when she was doing that show with Sue Bird where they just watched the games and talked like a Manning cast. She hates Caitlin Clark.
She is not.
She is offended that the human exists like Kendrick and Drake.
Yeah.
It's not enough that, they're successful and I hate their success. I hate that they breathe air.
She was asked about her yesterday and she said, yeah, it'll be fun.
Olympic track trials, 9 o'clock tonight, 7 o'clock tomorrow night, 6:30 Sunday night, all on ESPN. Men's high jump. Watch that event this weekend. Still 2 Huskers alive in their quest to make the Paris Olympic team. So a little local interest there. NHL draft is tonight on ESPN, 6 o'clock. Connor, it's taking place at the Sphere. I will ask you this. Do you know who's on the clock?
For what now?
The NHL draft tonight, round 1.
The Mighty Ducks.
No, close. San Jose Sharks. Sunday, there's a little football, not on your TVs. It'll be online. a third place match between the US of A and Austria.
Yikes.
In the under 20 league. IFAF.TV is where you can find that third place match Sunday afternoon. And finally, a movie on Netflix, A Family Affair. A movie star, played by Zac Efron, starts dating the mother, Nicole Kidman, of his assistant, Kathy Bates co-stars.
Of course she does. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you, Connor.
For watching this weekend. Enjoy. Have fun. And we will talk to you on Monday. But next, it's the crossover on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Hey, Nebraskans, your signatures are needed to finally legalize medical marijuana, but time is limited. There's nearly 1 week left. Get to the state's best liquor stores, wine, beer, and spirits today and sign. Support nmm2024.org to make a donation.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
I plan to rearrange my closet, but I stopped after picking the clothes up off the floor.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's award-winning language learning app will help you start speaking another language. Start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
Comment tu t'appelles? Comment tu t'appelles? Vous êtes où?
Vous êtes où?
Babbel's bite-sized lessons make it easy to learn words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks,
"How's your French going?"
you can say,
Babbel est amusant et facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue. Et cela ne prend que 15 minutes par jour.
when you want to really learn another language, it starts with Babbel. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.